Hello, everyone. Delboy will be with us soon. The nurse has just turned up, and he's just got to deal with that. But I don't think it'll be too long. So welcome everybody. This is episode 52. We've been going, oh wow, 52 episodes, which ain't bad, is it? It's pretty good, I would say. And yeah, um, I've enjoyed everyone we've done. Yeah, is that good? I'm sure. Yeah, you're thinking, oh, by what's going on here? Well, if you're new, welcome, and if you're not so new, thank you for all your support, everyone. Um, and hopefully we'll have a good time again. Um, so I normally say to Del Boy, "What have you been watching?" And perhaps I'll talk about what I've been watching. So I think the first thing I'll talk about that I've watched is Black Mirror. Yeah. Now I've been able to download all the Black Mirror episodes apart from the first one. And from what people were saying, that was one of the best episodes. So I'll have to try and get hold of that. My overall impression was people are always quite negative about these things. I think because when you reach a certain height with something, everybody's going to just say, "Oh, this is going to be awful." Now, it's past its sell by, and it's not. It's a great. There's so many great ideas that you can do with a Dark Mirror. Black Mirror. That Black Mirror is a series that can keep going and going and going and going. I think as long as you've got ideas, good writers, why shouldn't you? Continue. Now, I suppose the headline of this series was that they, for the first time, have done a sequel, which was the Callister one, and I thought they did a good job on this sequel. It was another great engaging story. Absolutely loved what they'd done with it and how they progressed and continued from where they left us in the previous story. And I thought, well, that's good. If you've got a good idea and you can keep doing it, well, why not? Let's see. I think some of the stories, the people talked about, I noticed, was the one with Peter Capaldi in Doctor Who fame, where he plays this rather crazy looking, eccentric character, if you want to put it like that. And he's an older version of what we see in the story looking back. And he looks totally mad. And then we see his younger self and his journey into how he became what he was. And that was a really interesting story. I really enjoyed that. The other story for me that I thought, is the concept was so clever. I thought was the idea of going into photographs and seeing this man. He wants to see this face of this, somebody who had gone out, had a relationship, and he didn't have any photos. It had ended badly, and so it got rid of all her face. And so he went into the photograph. This was the idea, to try and find her face. But I'm not going to give anything away. But the ending was absolutely heartbreaking. It was so clever.
Yeah.
It was so
It was
well
out.
written.
It was heartbreaking, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, it was brilliant, wasn't it?
And of course, the mirror. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the glass. Shut up! It's time to bloody get things started. What's all this crap you've been talking about? I've been here for bloody 10 minutes. What the hell's been going on?
I've been talking
I
about
told
that.
You got to start off with bloody shouting. You ain't got to talk about this crap. What the hell's that all about?
Have you watched it, lad?
I don't even know what you're talking about. I
you know what you're talking about.
I just was going, yeah. Or I could have shown myself going to sleep.
Well, that's all right.
I thought of that.
Anyway, get that out of the way. You haven't watched it, have you? Yeah.
I haven't got what it is, and I still don't know. What?
We're on about Black Mirror.
Oh, I've seen loads of Black Mirrors.
The new series. The new ones.
No, I've seen loads of Black Mirrors. I mean, I've got one that's painted black in the toilet. We've got a Black Mirror that's
I'm sorry. The gags get worse every week. Perhaps we should put a public warning up. Delboy gag time. Oh dear.
I know what you're talking about. I do want to see the new series because I am a big fan of Charlie Brooker. I really am. But I've been watching. The only thing I've watched the start of is the Last of Us, which is the new season 2 that started on Monday. Yeah. So at the end of the day, with my mother and that, it's a bit hard to start something. Too many new things. Yeah. And Daredevil was the thing that was before the Last of Us. So it's going to be really nice to cleanse my palate with Black Mirror because Black Mirror is more like Twilight Zone to me, and Twilight Zone is that familiar ground for me. Yeah, that's the ground where I go. Do you know what? Yeah. Shut off. Yeah. Just watch it. Brilliant. Yeah, and I can be there, and every single one I can enjoy for what it is.
And you should do because, and I would. And I think now we learn this that we should ignore people who are always going to be negative. It's a lot of bull. It's a lot of bull that they just come out with and saying, the criticism's ridiculous. It was almost like they'd never watched the series. They were watching something totally different to what I was watching.
Oh, are they already bad mouthing it then? Some
of them are just saying, "No, it's not as good as it was," and blah blah. It's one of those ideas that can run and run, and you've got good writers. And actors as well. They get some good actors in. It's just a great series. Absolutely love it. What's not to like about it?
I think the hardest thing, when you're doing something like Black Mirror, is that Charlie Brooker is obviously a very busy guy, right? And he wants to do something different for every episode. I don't think he's got a plan that all the episodes are about a theme this year or anything like that. And what you have to remember is if you've been away for a while and then you come back and you're doing a new season and stuff, what you have to think about is, do I really, really want to tread over old ground like I did before? Should I come back with something that's exciting and new that I think is quite new? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the trouble is, and I don't want to, I suppose I have to bring the elephant in the room, Doctor Who again, right?
Yeah.
The trouble with it is that that's something that Doctor Who used to do, and in some ways still does, but they've got agendas.
Yeah.
Don't like agendas.
Exactly.
That they then have to portray onto us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, with something like Black Mirror, you can have an agenda, but you could probably just do it in one episode and get it out of the way. And then you've got all the others that have got nothing to do with
the story.
That, right?
Story. Yeah.
So Doctor Who this week, it threw everything but the kitchen sink at us, AI, robots. You know what I mean? I'm going AI, here we go. The very first episode's got AI in it, right? And all of this sort of stuff. I'm just going, bollocks. Yeah, right? It's almost like he just went, I'm going to do something topical. It's not topical anymore. People are sick of it.
Yeah,
because it's in every bloody day. We're talking about AI. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
When Doctor Who with John Pertwee did something about the green worms, and all of that.
Yeah, the Green Death story,
and it was about the environment.
Yeah,
it was still fresh because they did it at a time that was a bit further away, or a bit early, or slap bang in the middle where it wasn't getting over the top with something. This guy basically just did the episode and just plonked it out there at a time where we're just sick of the bloody 2 letters at the moment. I mean, I'm fed up with it.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? Totally agree.
But anyway, the thing that people are kicking up about that episode is that the Doctor celebrates the death of something.
Oh, you see, you know, when you say things like that, I just think, I'm glad I haven't watched it.
Yeah, so you haven't. I mean, I don't want to give too much away, but it's not. I mean, it's been over 4 or 5 days, right? But basically, the protagonist in the show dies. He's reduced to a sperm on the floor, which is a cell, a living cell.
Yeah.
A robot comes along and cleans it up, and the Doctor celebrates by going, "Yes!" Where the Doctor would always look at something as every cell in everything is worth saving. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Now, the fans are obviously going to kick up, and I don't know why Russell T. Davies doesn't think that wouldn't happen, because the reason people didn't like the last Superman film was because he killed in it.
Yeah.
Superman does not kill.
No.
Right? So if he kills in the film, people are going, "Oh my God, Superman just killed someone in a film."
Yeah.
Now, if you want a shock, but I tell you what, that's against 70 years of the character blown out the window, because he's always thrown himself in front of a train to salvage a tree.
Yeah.
And here he is killing someone. So the Doctor, he's used his TARDIS, he's used himself. Companions have also looked upon it and sacrificed themselves, like Earthshock and so forth. Like everything possibly do. And in this, he does a roundhouse kick in the air to celebrate that this thing's dead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's bollocks.
Yeah.
Even I go, no, you've now gone way too far.
It's a load of rubbish. That's what it is. It's what it's become. Yeah, I'm glad I missed that. What else have I watched? Now, I watched a film that I just raved over. I did a review.
Sorry, let me introduce. Sorry, fellas. And girls and guys and girls.
Yeah.
I am here. I'm just now going to introduce the corner called the Tony York DVD section. Over to you, Ian.
Right, there it is. Anyhow, Tony York DVD section. We've got to have that joke in. We've still got one more running joke. I'm not going to mention it, but it will come up very soon. A certain person will be mentioned. Anyhow, this one, I really enjoyed this. I think it has actually probably got a Blu-ray release, but this one, it is fantastic. This Black Book. I did a review of it. I was just blown away because it's the first time I've seen a film looking at the Dutch resistance in the Second World War, and it does it so well. And this character, she's amazing. She is like working for the resistance, and she has to go to the Germans and infiltrate the Germans. So she has to sleep and build up relationships with these really appalling characters, people who've just commit murder, and it's absolutely amazing what she does. And the film, I just thought it was outstanding. I've not seen it for a war film. It's good to see a different viewpoint as well, because we tend to, you know, with a lot of Second World War films, from our viewpoint, we see it, the British viewpoint. And it's good to see that we forget that there were other people fighting the Nazis in Europe, occupied Europe. And to see the resistance in Holland, I think it was really good, because I didn't know much about the resistance in Holland. We do know a bit more about the French resistance, but the Dutch one was really interesting. So I like that one a lot. Then
I know. I know the French Resistance. That was headed up by a guy called Rene, wasn't it?
Oh, hello. Yeah. The Madonna with the boobies.
That's for the old folk.
Then now this film, I thought, I'm going to really enjoy this one. I thought I'll really enjoy this one because it's got a good cast. There's Peter O'Toole in this. There's Donald Pleasance in it. Oh, I absolutely love Donald Pleasance. A whole host of great actors in this film, and it's about the story of the generals who were going to blow up Hitler and get rid of Hitler, and it's all about that. So you think, well, that's going to be really interesting and exciting. But I'll be honest, I found this quite dull. It's a shame. You had such a lot of great actors involved, and there wasn't enough excitement. I mean, they're going to blooming well blow up the Hitler, and it'd have been a major thing. If they'd have done that, they would have negotiated a peace settlement. The war would have been over earlier and saved a lot of lives. But this film is dull.
That's a shame. It looks really good from the cover.
Yeah, it does. It does, and it's
true.
Tony,
Tony York's really wrapped that up well, hasn't he? Really, when he sent that to you, didn't he? I mean, he must have bubble wrapped that one individually.
No, these are. He just sent me all these cases that I got. I managed to get all these cases.
Yeah, but we know it's from Tony York, you daft divvy. That's what we were getting at.
Oh dear. Yeah. And then I'll just talk about this one. This is one that I know has got you knowing, like, possibly you've probably got the release of this. This came out probably a few months ago. But it's Michael Caine, The Island.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think it's the greatest film, but it's enjoyable because it's one of these films where Michael Caine was making these films, and
it flies. This one flies under the radar. So carry on. Yeah, this one does. Go on.
He was one of those you could see. He's in it a lot at the beginning, and then it sort of starts to reduce as the film goes on, and he doesn't look quite as into it. He's doing it for the money, but guess who else is in it? David Warner. If David Warner's in it, wow, you're going to get a good performance. And there's David Warner in it. He saves the film. It's enjoyable, but a bit daft in places. Not in a good way always. But I enjoyed it. But that's The Island. And I know it got a re-release on Blu-ray with a lovely cover and everything. And I suppose that's it in terms of films. And then I have my bit of music, which you're not interested in, but I'll do it anyhow.
I'm not interested.
Because
stop telling the world I'm not interested in music.
It's an album, you see.
What? Yeah, what about it?
It's not a film score. I
don't care. I've got albums. Carry on.
It's not a film. Anyhow, this is Ward Thomas. These are two twins, and they're singer-songwriters. And this is from 2016. They did another album after this. I really enjoyed this. The voices are really good. All original material that they wrote themselves. And I just like the feel of it. It's great to have singer-songwriters. I've got these beautiful voices, and they're so assured in what they're doing, and it's beautiful. Absolutely, absolutely loved it. And that's it. So that's my what I've been watching.
So we don't need to have anything else come out from you this week then. Ask all right. Yeah, I can have the rest of the week. Cheers. Marvelous. Like that. means I don't have to look tomorrow and Good Friday for any videos coming out. That's it. You can just relax.
Yeah, I haven't been. I wasn't plugging my channel yet. Again, though I did say I have already done the review of Black Book, so that's already out. But
yeah,
there's other. You might
see, there's so many jokes. You see, you can do that.
Yeah, I know.
I've just done the review of Black Book. It was ever so dark, black. You see, black, dark. You see, Black Book, right?
Yeah,
see?
yeah.
It wasn't very enlightening. No, a bit dark, was it?
Yeah.
So you can carry on, all along those lines.
I've got my usual Doctor Who review, which I've had, and he's if you look in the background,
is that the King's Demons?
No. Is that was coming up? That's next week's King's Demons.
You've just done Enlightenment, didn't you?
That's right, Enlightenment. I did.
So that's the trilogy.
Yeah, that's right. It's the end of the trilogy. And then we're on to King's Demons coming up. Definitely.
The nurse is just here, so just carry on without me for a moment.
Okay. So I'll get into right. So what I'll do is I'll go through the comments. I might as well. Let's have a look here. So the first comment we have got is Tony. He says, "Evening, Ian and Del." Yeah, well, he's gone anyhow. Del, yeah. So but yes. And then we've got Frank Holder. Hi, chaps. Hello, Frank. Welcome. And then Tony Hawk says, 5 rounds rapid. A chap with the wings. Aha, it's a Doctor Who, the Brigadier. And I know you're going to ask it in a minute. Let's have a look. Great to see the brig with you, Del. Thank you. Anybody know where the wings quote is from? Yeah, I do. It's from Demons, or Damons, if you want to call it, which is possibly one of the all-time great Doctor Who stories. It's a third Doctor story, John Pertwee. I know you're a big fan, Tony, of John Pertwee, and it is considered one of the great stories. I love it. A bit of horror there with that story. Great atmosphere. One of the all-time great stories. But yeah, that's the Brigadier. Brilliant. How great that era was. Yeah. Frank, I turned Doctor Who off after about 6 minutes. It was garbage, utter garbage. I didn't even bother. I couldn't face it. It was one of those things. Oh no, I just saw it afterwards. And it came up and I thought, oh no, I just couldn't face it. I knew exactly what it would be like, and it sounds like it was just awful. Just we mentioned it when Delboy was discussing it, exactly how depressing it is that Doctor Who has got to this level. All I want is for it to be cancelled and just have a long rest with different people, different attitudes, get back to the story writing, get a good doctor and a good actor. There's lots that could be done, but not this time. It's going to need a rest, which is not a bad thing, is it? Have a rest. Not seen it, but did see a few reviews saying it was better than the first series. Probably a low bar to start from, though, I guess. Yeah, I've just got to the point where I can't be bothered, and that's terrible, isn't it? Because I'm being such a big Doctor Who fan. It's really done it to me that, oh dear me. Yeah. I got the complete collection of Z cars this week, still sealed, for £4, you blooming heck. That would be great. Oh, now that would be real TV gold watching the Z Cars. Z Cars was a great series. And I say I always remember it because Barlow and Watt came out of that as the detectives. But Z Cars, it was groundbreaking. It was, as I remember watching it going back, it was a harder version of more what policing was like than, say, Dixon of Dock Green. Dixon of Dock Green was another one from that sort of era that was on in 60s TV, Jack Warner, which the character came from the film Blue Lamp, where he gets shot by Dirk Bogart. In that film. But they liked the character and then put him into his own TV series, and we get Dixon of Dock Green. But the police, it was just, it never had a harder edge. It was the old-fashioned copper, talking away and flip round their ear. And the criminals were not always, they weren't nasty or anything like that. It was, it was almost like a stereotype. Z-Cars came along and it had a much more realistic, harder approach, and that developed as well. And of course, without these series, we wouldn't have got more of the police series that would develop. But in terms of history, Z-Cars is perhaps, important that it did that. We wouldn't have had Barlow and Watt, and then we wouldn't have, if you look onto ITV leading up into, the Sweeney, which of course was such a radical, realistic look at policing. You think in contrast to all this, the Sweeney was just so way ahead, but realistic how they were. But the Z-Cars, it's got a good place. It's a place in history, and it certainly had I think, a slightly harder edge than, say, Dixon of Dock Green. But of course, I suppose the BBC was in those days as well, were restricted on what you could portray on the TV. But some programs did try and push the boundaries a bit. But they were always very aware of what you could and couldn't show. But sorry, Z-Cars was it did develop quite a bit, and I say Barlow and Watt, they were great detectives, and they were brilliant. It was good to see them, and they got their own series from that. Tell you, Blu-ray of Black Book just has a couple of extra special features here. Rewatched Night of the Generals recently, a bit too long in my opinion. Need tightening up. Got those Z-Car DVDs, Frank. Do you like? Oh yes, Softly, and Dixon of Dock Green. Got those too. Yeah, they were what I was just on about those series. Softly, definitely. I think it was good for its time. Yeah, definitely. Dixon and Dock Green. What can you say? Yeah, important, definitely. Night of the Generals, as I said, the concept was great acting in actors, but it just didn't come alive at all. I mean, it should have been really wonderful seeing, these generals who are actually going to blow up Hitler. I mean, it's a great headline, and it just falls a bit flat. It really does. They should have built it up. Should have really built it up, but there we are. It didn't. And we've got here Jamie, Muckman Movies. Good evening, Muddy Humpers. Well, thank you, Jamie, for joining us. And hope you enjoy your stay here. Well, we'll see what happens. You haven't got Delboy insulting you yet. And Tony hasn't had the full Delboy treatment yet, but he's had a bit, you know. We know what he's like, yeah. And then we've got Frank Older. I'd love Softly Softly. I don't have it. Yeah.
Has that shithead Jamie come in yet?
You know he has. I just mentioned it.
Oh, did you? Oh, all right. I just wanted to know where that bastard was. That was
Monkman movies he's in. Yes, he's in.
All right.
Oh dear. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure if you like those sort of 60s, 70s film police shows, Softly Softly is a really good one. Definitely.
Because you're an old fart, right?
Yeah.
Has the BBC got all of Softly Softly? I don't think they have, do they?
Ah. What did you think it started?
I think it's a bit like Dad's Army, isn't it? Where they've got the majority of it, but they've.
I think there might be a few episodes, yeah, because it was quite early that are missing. Yeah, I would say you're right. Yeah, same with Dixon as Doc Green, I think, as well, which was another one. But as I said, Dixon as Doc Green was much more softer and not as hard hitting. Softly Softly would become much more hard hitting program, but obviously not like the Sweeney, which was such a big radical change with policing. But for the BBC, Softly Softly was a bit of a step forward as a Barlow on what we got.
And those cars, there's those Z cars,
Oh yeah.
They were so fast. They started doing deliveries of Tony York DVDs, didn't they? To your house, didn't they? They bought so many of them that they started to use a fleet of cars to get these DVDs to you.
Oh, part of it. Anyhow, Tony says, Frank, series 1 and 2 are available from Simple Media. There's also 3 German DVDs with selected episodes from the later series of Softly. All right. There always seems to be these German releases. They seem to do a lot that we don't get. Thanks.
I mean, I think the good news really is that at least the majority is there. I mean, when you look at Doctor Who, just as an example, I mean, it was pretty much 2/3 of the black and white estate gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was was it 200 odd episodes or something at one old stage, all black and white ones.
Yeah.
With the odd Pertwee color one.
Yeah.
Missing, right?
Yeah.
And it's an amazing job that they've done. And it's nice that they've gone to Dad's Army and even animated those, just to fill in some blanks.
Yeah, that's right.
And they tested the water to see whether something like this is something that people want. And it's nice to know that people out there do have an interest and go, please continue. They may not be happy with the art design or the cutting corners, but at the end of the day, what I suffered with just the audio for a time with hand-drawn pictures for the cassettes. This is what I had, right? Or we had the telesnap stuff, which was a camera sitting in front of a 60s TV, taking the odd snapshot every 15 seconds. Right? Appended onto the audio. Now, which do you want? Do you want shitty animation with really nice now audio that sounds pretty clear? Or do you want that stuff that I suffered with, that I was forking out 20 quid for a VHS tape?
For a crappy.
Right? Yeah. Now, I tell you, don't moan, because it's that or nothing, and I'd rather have that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't stop. Don't stop. You're on a roll.
Yeah.
Continue. Listen to what people say. Can you just put a little bit, maybe a bit more money, or choose a different direction and all this sort of stuff? Yeah, right. But at the end of the day, I'd rather have what they've done and fill in
Yeah.
those stories, because it's unlikely that we're going to
Yeah.
get much more than 5 or 6 episodes that might turn up before I'm dead.
Yeah.
Right?
There has been some BBC episodes turned up, I think, within the last few years, but not Doctor Who, unfortunately.
Oh,
So they're still finding them.
Denny put up a picture in my Discord saying that they've just found a load of canned films with nothing written on them that have been
That's right.
returned
I
to the
think that's what they're
BBC.
going through. Because I'm sure they found some Likely Lads ones, just a couple of them, I think. The original black and white Likely Lads.
Yeah.
So,
Which again,
yeah,
we're lucky that we've got a Christmas special that they did a 10-minute skit on.
yeah.
And some of the odd episodes, but they were electricians working in a factory, and it was a totally different sort of like show compared to the color ones that we saw later on, where it's all about how can you mend a friendship where you've done that to your friend and he's been in the army for 3 years. I mean, Jesus. I mean, it was that really was a bad prank. I mean, he stayed in the army for about 3 or 4 years and then came back. I mean, that's hard. That really is hard.
Yeah. I still think that there's still the chances of Doctor Who maybe are less, but it's not totally out of the question. But I still think other things in TV history will turn up because collectors.
I've got no doubt. It's just that what I'm saying is I'm so old now.
Yeah.
At the rate that it's being drip fed to us.
Yeah.
I'd be at a point where they've now got 16K movies coming out or something, right?
Yeah.
And I'd have bought 2001 for the 89th time in that format or something.
Yeah.
By the time we get one new Doctor Who episode coming out in black and white.
The problem with Doctor Who is there's always a lot of rumors which can't be verified. It's like they say, oh, there definitely is more private collectors who have them, but we're not going to see them unless they die or something like that. But there's no solid evidence. I think that's more wishful thinking.
Rumor.
Yeah. The only thing is, there is one thing I'd like to know is what happened to that one episode that went missing. When they got all of was it the Web Affair or?
Yes, it was the one with one of the middle episodes with the army going against the Yeti.
It went missing.
4 or 5 or
and they had it. They definitely had it. So where did it go? It's like somebody nicked it or something for whatever stupid reason.
I think what it was is they picked up a load more. They knew that in a private collection there is one that's available, but he's holding back, and each time he keeps upping the price and all of this sort of stuff. And the BBC won't quite go down the route of it's our property. If you really, really want us, we can actually go to court over this. Right?
Yeah.
They want to keep treading softly in case that person just goes, look, make a copy, give me the film back or something. But he knows full well that once it's out on video, once it's been scanned, that the value of that particular film is nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And he knows that the more that he keeps holding back, the more I've got a blank check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very much a lot like the arcade business, right? There's just to let you know, there are certain arcade boards out there, right? Machines that used to put coins in, right? The arcade machines.
Yeah.
There were prototypes that went out into the world to test out for people to see whether it would work, and before they went into manufacture, right? And those machines never got returned back to the developers of the game or the company that was making the console. They ended up in people's private collections. And you can play now every arcade game on your PC because you can dump the chips, the code that's on those chips, you can dump, and you can then play it on your PC. But the thing is, if you know that you've got the only PCB board of this particular game, then you know full well you've got a lifetime of being able to go round to events, bringing this to a special showing. You could be the guest of honor talking about this PCB. You can show it off. All this.
Yeah.
If he ever gave that to an actual technician that says, dump the code on this, nobody would be interested in that game ever.
Yeah.
He would have gone from a thousands and thousands of pound game
to
50 pence.
Yeah.
That you'd put in to play the game, and then you'd walk off.
Yeah.
It's only interesting when nobody has seen it.
Yeah.
Soon as it's seen, you just go, I've got 25,000 other games I can go on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a bit like that. So yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, you showed off all your shit. Where's my section?
Yeah. Well, you. Is that your section? Oh dear.
Let's see if my camera stays stable. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
There isn't much to show, actually. This, I believe it or not, I got for £2.50 off of eBay, and I didn't want it, but I won it. Right? Because if you remember rightly, a couple of weeks ago, I said, do you know what? I've got this film from a couple of years ago, and they've just re-released it on another label, and I'm quite happy with the one I got.
Yeah.
But it's Dressed to Kill, but it's the Arrow version, right?
Oh.
So I've got that, and I won that for £2.50.
Wow. God, that was cheap.
Yeah. Now, the bad news. You know how much I wanted Maxine.
Yes. Yeah.
What did they do yesterday? They released the fact that it's coming out as a steel book in the next month.
Oh, fantastic. Get your order in.
No, but I bought that this week, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I waited long and thought,
as soon as
I'll go and order it. Right.
And then
the next day, they announced the steel book of it. Bastards. So that pissed me off.
Yeah.
But I did get the 4K Blu-ray digital copy. It's from America. It's the slipcover version.
Yeah.
It cost me £10.99.
I don't care what anybody says. That's a great film with Maxine. You know, I love Maxine.
So £10.99 got that.
Yeah.
Now, my foreign version of the Wolfman Steelbook came through. You could tell that because it's got 16 at the bottom. That means it's the German one, I think.
And this is the new Wolfman film, or fairly recent one.
That's the new Wolfman one. Steelbook, bit boring, really, from a Steelbook point of view. I think Jamie would probably the same. It's very uninspired. It's basically a picture, two people on the front using the moon as an O. Oh, that's original, isn't it? You know what I mean? And I think I showed these last week, and that was Scanners and the Brood, didn't I? Which they're brilliant. I put those in my trailers this week.
They're lovely.
They're probably still the best thing that's turned up in the last couple of days. But what have I been watching? Well, as you know, my mother's not well, so it's very difficult for me to watch anything. But I have been watching, like I say, the very first episode of The Last of Us, which I had to watch because season 1 was such a high. I mean, my God, the amount of text lines from the media saying how good that was meant that I had to watch the very first episode of the second season, and it started off on a high. It's pretty darn good.
That's good.
Pretty good. I've just about finished Daredevil now, and that's been good, but not as good as the Netflix. When it was over on Netflix, it was better. But it's still much better quality than anything Marvel's done, with
Yeah,
Disney.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What else have I been watching? I've been watching mostly, Freeview TV, and there's a channel called Rewind.
Yeah.
It's just basically showing off episodes of things like Armchair Thriller and
that's all right.
Space 1999, Monkey. It's been showing Monkey. It's been showing what else? Wurzel Gummidge Down Under.
Yeah.
It's been showing Flash Gordon Conquers the Universe. It's showing all sorts that I just basically late at night that I can't sleep. Brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, marvelous. It's almost like, Del, tell us 5 shows that you'd like to show from 9 o'clock at night till 1 in the morning. So you got a night dedicated to you, and I went that, and they went, right, there you are, and I'm watching it. I'm there going, wow, Space 99. Oh, right now UFO. Oh yeah, right now we're showing Thriller. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Thriller. Wow.
It's almost like that. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to change the channel. The only thing about it's got bloody adverts in it.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to write in and say, can you put the adverts on when they from the era that these TV shows came from?
Oh, that'd be more interesting.
That'd be all right.
It would.
That'd be all right. An evening of 70s adverts. Just imagine. You'd have Triumph have the bra for the way you are. You'd have Bird's Eye beef burgers. You'd have Woolworth adverts with the pick and mix. Bloody hell, I'd love it. I'd be in heaven. How many Hairspray is she or isn't she? Turkish Delight, the Flake adverts. We'd have them all. I'd love it. That'd be my night. Do that every night, and I'll tell you, I wouldn't bloody get out of bed.
No.
Yeah, watching it. Oh, I'm sick today. Work. I can't work. I'm sick. Yeah. I've got a case of the monkeys. I mean, a case of the Space 90. I mean, I've got a case of. Yeah. You know what I mean? It'd be like that. Anyway, sorry, it's so sort of uninteresting compared to the Tony DVD hour.
No, it's very entertaining. I'll tell you what, we've been on an hour, and I'd just like to say, well, actually, it's a bit less than an hour, but I'd just like to say, anybody that's new watching here, please subscribe to Delboy. I've got it in. I've put his link in the description. So go over, have a look, and his channel's great. He is known, of course, for the blog, which is always brilliant, but he does a lot more. And this week, he put up a video on trading cards, and that might excite people who don't know about trading cards. Go and have a look at that. And he does all sorts of things. He is obviously well known in the gaming community, does a lot with games. I'm not from gaming community, but he does film stuff as well. And
I'll tell you something. Thank you very much for that. I'm just going to give you a little hidden thing that I haven't told anybody yet, and I haven't even told you.
Yeah.
I'm around about 2 days away from finishing up my research on a video that I've wanted to do for absolutely ages on behalf of Jamie. Believe it or not, I'm gonna do the 7 Samurai.
Oh, right.
And how much that film meant to me watching it this year.
Fantastic.
Based on the fact of how long that's been out and how much it influenced so many other films.
That's great.
And then break it down a little bit on the scenes that I think were totally plagiarized and used by Leone and all of that sort of stuff. I mean, all of that sort of stuff. So thank you, Jamie, for telling me that was worth buying. It was definitely worth buying. It did take me quite a while to get through it, and it's taken even longer for me to sort of I get to a point where I think I can do it justice.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You want to do a really good video, and you have to build up and get it right. I know exactly what you mean.
Now, the other idea that I've been banding about, which if anybody reads the comments of certain other channels that I participate in, Bob Art has just done his top 5 community soundtracks. Right, he said 5 films that jaw drop in the soundtracks that you like, and I said to him, "You'll have to tell me how you got away with that, because every time I've tried to do anything more than 10 seconds or something, I get a copyright on
You
it."
do,
Right?
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
But I've been toying with the idea of doing, maybe moving away from YouTube and doing a one-off podcast. You know, a podcast that would actually
yeah,
go out on
yeah,
radio.
yeah,
And I'm really aiming to do a one-off that would involve Wee Bob Art, possibly yourself, maybe one other, talking about the soundtracks, and we're going to talk about decades, like the soundtracks of the 60s, the soundtracks of the
yeah.
70s, the soundtracks of the 80s, soundtracks of the 90s, and the modern soundtrack now. Because I'll tell you what, the other thing that I need to ask you a question on, right?
All
Because
right.
every time I watch your videos, it makes me laugh. It makes me, in a good way. It makes me smile in a good way. It's just you say, yes, we're talking about the golden age of Doctor Who, right? We're going to do the golden age, and it's Peter
Yeah,
Davison, right?
it's true.
Right? It's Peter Davison. I'm going, hang on a minute, hang on. So it's supposed to be golden, silver, bronze, modern, right? If Peter Davison is golden, right?
Yeah,
What the heck, right, is the bronze and the modern, right? Bronze, was the bronze section only about 3 years long? Then was the golden age like all the way up to the end of Peter Davison? Am I missing something? Because
but
I would have thought
I count the golden age of Doctor Who.
the golden age would have ended at Patrick Troughton. I would have thought.
To me, I count it right from. To me, Doctor. I count golden age from John Pertwee's in colour. I kind of put it as that because it projected itself onto BBC One, and when you get on BBC One, that is the thing. It's the big thing.
Yeah.
So for me, that I consider that the golden age.
Just to give you a flavour, you see, most people, when they're talking about stuff and they say the golden age, right?
Yeah.
They might talk about Laurel and Hardy, right? You say, right, okay, so we're talking like the 20s and 30s in film is right.
Golden, I'm seeing it different. Yeah.
Right,
yeah.
Right. And in comics, Superman is the golden age with Batman, because he came out in the 40s.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
When you get to the Silver Age, you're talking 60s.
Yeah.
Right? Silver Age.
Yeah.
Right?
The
70s was such an experimental age. They called that the Bronze Age. The Bronze Age, right?
Yeah.
And the Bronze Age goes on for about 20 years before you get to modern. Right? Before you get to modern, right?
Yeah.
Modern is really from I don't know, 1992
yeah.
onwards.
Yeah.
Right? They call that the modern age.
Yeah.
That's the age where people were buying comics because they thought that they could actually get their pension from buying the first issue or something, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous, right? You'd get your pension if you had Superman issue 1. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
There's your pension, right? There, 250 million pounds probably for that particular issue or something, right? Not a 1991 where they published about 7 million of them.
Yeah.
Right. That cost $2. You are not going to come in 20 years' time. You are not going to get anything more than $2.50 for it. Right. Because there was the answers in the publishing run. Yes, they published 7 million of them. Right. You have not got a unique issue. Right.
Yeah.
A unique issue is Action Comics #1. Or something from 1942 in the middle of the war, right? Where nobody had heard of somebody floating around with a cape or something behind him, right? And nobody knew what the print runs were because no bloody person knew where they even printed the damn comics from. They just turned up on newsstands, right? That's when you've got a bit of money.
Yeah.
You know? And if you find that in your attic, hey, you ain't likely to.
Yeah.
You're not likely to. And that is what you can relax and say, I've got my pension.
Yeah.
I've got my pension sorted.
Yeah.
I'm just doing now for fun. I'll retire at whatever age I bloody well want to.
Yeah.
As I can get rid of that. Right? But not one from 1992 that was out for $2 and they had 7 million bloody printed.
Yeah.
Just because it has the number 1 posted on the front of it, right? No. Anyway, it just makes me laugh because you say golden age of Doctor Who.
Well, it's interesting.
Peter Davison, and I'm going, hang on, golden age.
You see, he's in my interpretation, Peter Davison is the end of the golden age of Doctor Who, because the next one, of course, is Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy, and they're considered not that the ratings were getting worse. You know, they hadn't been in decline before, but those two, they kind of brought Doctor Who to the end, really.
Well, to me, the golden age ends with Patrick Troughton, and the silver age ends at the end of Peter.
You see, to me,
the silver age
golden age.
The silver age ends with Peter Davison, and the bronze age ends with Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, for me, the height of Doctor Who is Tom Baker. Really, you've got to look in terms of cultural, the ratings, everything. Tom Baker is the height, and Peter Davison, they moved him into the week, so the ratings.
Oh yeah, he was on twice a week. He was on a Monday and a Wednesday.
That's right, but
he was dead again. He was dead set against Coronation Street.
Exactly, he had no chance. But in terms of, I look at it, just my own personal interpretation, the writing, the stories, him as a doctor, I think he's a great doctor. I think the writing's still good. The sets, the costumes, there's still a lot of excellent stuff of Doctor Who. The decline begins once we get Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy. It's sad what happened to it. No wonder it got cancelled. Though, to be fair to Sylvester McCoy, that last season he did, the cancellation season, is such a massive improvement. You almost wish it would have gone on to another series, and we could have added better.
I think we can put things. Looking at history. And we'll come off the subject in a minute because
not everybody's Doctor.
I only wanted to know what the bloody hell are you calling that golden age for, you duff old.
Yeah, it's just a term to me. Right? As I said, the golden age of Doctor Who for me, it's just is from William Hartnell, which is the beginning.
What's the silver age then?
I don't have one. I don't have all that.
You got to have one, haven't you? It's gold, isn't it? I mean, you got to have a silver and a bronze, haven't you? I mean,
don't. It's just an expression.
Gold.
No, I don't. I'm not into that pedantic.
No, don't call it gold then.
It is for me. It's gold.
Old duffer.
No, it doesn't matter. I just use my own phrases as I see it. The golden age is when it's brilliant. That's my interpretation. I don't have silver and bronze and I don't know you whatever else there could be. I don't have metals. I'm not an heavy metal fan.
You liar!
No, I don't mind a bit of heavy metal.
Now you're lying.
That's another story.
Anyway.
So that's that. When I say it's just my expression of a phrase when I love Doctor Who and when people seem to like Doctor Who. So the ratings.
I am surprised, but I do use that. I am quite strict when it comes to gold, silver, and bronze because I do think of Laurel and Hardy as being the golden age. You know,
I understand that expression, but I'm just putting my interpretation. For me, it's my. I don't say, oh, that's a Bronze Age. If you as somebody who likes history and you say Bronze Age, I'm thinking, oh yeah, they're the next step up from the cavemen and the development of metal. That's how I'm seeing it. Whereas you're seeing it differently.
You archaeologist historian, you.
Yeah.
We're not talking bloody. Oh look, I've just dug up the field.
And then
Look,
you
got an
might as well
arrowhead.
say, let's
I've
talk
got
about
an
the Iron
arrowhead.
Age.
I got an arrowhead
why
in my pocket. Look. That must have come from prehistoric man when dinosaurs were around.
Yeah.
No.
It's ironic that the worst episode of Doctor Who amongst them is, in fact, the Stone Age story that William Arnold does after Unearthly Child. It's absolutely awful.
Tribe of Gum.
Oh dear! I've got to watch that. I'm dreading watching that when I start reviewing.
I'll tell you what, the best thing of going back to that, right? The best then because I've done it recently, right?
Yeah,
is always watch the unbroadcasted version first, the very first episode.
The pilot. Yeah.
Then watch the transmitted one all the way through. At least you've got a highlight of going, oh well, at least I watched the pilot bit again.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah,
because I think that works, because otherwise episode 2 onwards is a snore fest.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's just. But I'm gonna try. I'll have to try and watch it just to. If I can't, I'll just end up switching it off. But I don't want to switch it off. But I can. It's just awful. I mean, it's interesting. Like, the Aztecs is a very popular one, and I do enjoy that. But I still find it quite funny because of the accents. You know, all these British posh accents half of the time. They didn't go for realism, did they?
No.
But it's an enjoyable story. It doesn't matter. But
anyway, we ought to start thinking about talking about films, because TV we've done a bit.
Yeah, I know. Right. So we'll get on. We'll see what happens. And we've got Tony saying, "Evening, Jamie." Anyway, we can talk about anything on our thing. We are even just limited.
Yeah, but I do know that people do like it when we start talking about films that we've never seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Andy makes Star Wars. Hello, Andy. Happy Wednesday, lads. Did anyone watch Doctor Who last Saturday? I did, and won't rewatch the episode again. It's not Doctor Who. Yeah, we know that we've covered that, Andy. It is awful. It's just awful. And then we've got Jamie, Muckman Movies, Tony lad. And then we've got Frank at Andy Makes Stars. I did and turned it off after 6 minutes. You managed 6 minutes. Pure garbage, in my opinion. You did well to do 6 minutes. You get the bonus point, Ian, with your Doctor Who knowledge. Yeah, I got a Doctor Who question right. Yeah.
Did you?
It was a quote. He said, "What episode is this from?" I'll just go back and see.
This is when I was dealing with the nurse. Yeah.
Here it is. You'll know it straight away. 5 rounds rapid. Chap with the wings. Who's that, and what episode is it?
Well, it's the Brigadier, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it's quite easy. And you know the story.
Right. Yeah. Righto.
Sorry?
What do you want to know now?
What, you know the story it's from, don't you?
Oh, I didn't know you had to know that as well.
Yeah, that's what he was asking. Brigadier and story.
Say it again.
What story is it from?
Yeah, say the line again.
Oh, okay.
It's not up on the screen. I can't remember, you know. 5 rounds rapid something or other.
Yeah, it's the 5 rounds rapid. Let's find it.
It sounds like a Peter Day. It sounds like a Patrick Troughton one, but I bet you it's a John Pertwee one.
Yeah, because it's Tony.
Yeah, it's John. It's definitely John Pertwee.
Yeah,
it could be the dinosaurs one. No, I don't know. No, I'm guessing now.
There it is again. I'll just one more look at it then. 5 rounds rapid. Chap with the wings. Chap with the wings might be a clue.
Oh, right, the wings
for a story. It's actually one of my favorite Doctor Who stories ever. I put it in the top top. Well, I don't like saying top tier because we end up with all these blooming golden
See
eggs.
what had wings? The Damons had wings. You had the one with the ghosty type thing that was from that was about time that had wings. Now, actually, see, I'm not that great, am I?
Can you remember?
Chap with the wings, no.
It's the demons or Damians.
Didn't I say the Damons? And I said those the Damons with the wings.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's on Hobbs Hill, isn't it? I mean, they were under Hobbs Hill when I think they were actually around there when that actually was said. But anyway, I nearly got it right. I was on the right grounds. I said, I bet you. I said, what's got wings? I said, there's the Damons, the one with the wings has got in there. And I said, what else has got wings? They had so I was there. But
yeah. It had to be the Brigadier with that one.
It was the Brigadier.
Oh, yeah, it had to be. Right. So we've got Jamie now. Muckman movies. Chance of seeing the Aurora.
Oh, right.
Boreals tonight. If you live up north and your skies are clear. Oh, the Aurora Borealis.
The Aurora Borealis.
Borealis. There you are. That's in the sky. If you've got a clear sky.
I tell you what, it's a very, very big year for astronomy because at the very beginning of the year, we've learned that actually all the planets align. You can actually have all the planets in the sky.
Yeah.
If you've got the right type of telescope, because at certain points we keep facing and turning. With the actual planets actually are all shown in the sky, which you don't normally get because they're in opposite sides. South and all that sort of stuff. But it happens about every, I don't know, is it like 750 years or something that you get this type of thing happen? So they consider 2025 the beginning as being a huge astronomy, event. That's why so many people are buying telescopes at the moment.
Right. Yeah.
I was tempted the other day to buy something called a CCAT S50. It's one of these new ones which has got a tripod and it's got the software in it that points to any planet by you just with your mobile phone, and then it takes pictures over the top of each other. It takes a photograph and then there's another photograph over the top, and they merge the two together, and you can get things like nebula and all sorts of stuff because it keeps doing different exposures and it maps over the top. So eventually you get those nice NASA shots that the old Hubble telescope used to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That brings back memories. The Hubble telescope. Do you remember when that went up and they got the mirror wrong?
Yeah, that's going back a bit. Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Took them 18 months to correct that. Yeah. Fraction out. Jesus Christ. I wondered to myself, do you know what? Why didn't they put a Hubble telescope as far away as the moon, and then all our telescopes point to that, because then we'd be able to see a much better focal range, wouldn't we? We'd be able to see.
Yeah.
And I always wondered why they never did that.
Yeah.
Because if you put the Hubble telescope up in the 70s, up in the sky, and it did all those lovely pictures, and they kept saying it's because of the lens. It's old. It's like it's antiquated. It's the best that we had in the 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, Christ, my phone camera can do that now. What if we put the biggest iPhone up in the sky and pointed our phones up at it? We could see whether there's aliens up there or not. You'd think we'd be able to do it, wouldn't you? No. Anyway.
Right. Tony says, sounds painful, the Boreals. Yeah. Tony, there are some YouTube channels with selected episodes of Z-Cars and Softly. Oh, that's good. I haven't actually looked that up. That might be interesting. Okay. Muckman movies. Tickets booked for a double bill at the cinema on Sunday. Sinners and Warfare. Someone I know says Best 2 films of the year so far. High praise indeed. Well, it'll be
Wow.
interesting to see what you
Wow.
think
Now
of them.
that
We'll
is
see what you think. Yeah.
that is something to say, isn't it? I mean, best
Yeah.
2 films of the year so
Yeah.
far. Wow. Okay.
That's quite a statement, but we'll see. It'd be interesting what your opinion is. Let's see. Oh, we got your Delboy there. You said you'd be 5 minutes. And then you've got Dirty Bastard. I don't
What,
know.
you call me a dirty bastard?
I don't know what that's to
I
do
nearly
with.
spat my bloody coke out there, dirty bastard. What are you talking about? You dirty little son.
That was quick, Delboy, he says that.
Hey, I don't muck about.
Tony, talking of Sweeney, you'd better get your trousers on, son. Those blaggers at Old Gold Media are releasing Series 1 with a new 2025 Blu-ray transfer. You're nicked. So they've actually gone and done a new transfer.
Denny announced that in my Discord literally a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we all got into the conversation about it, really, saying, I wonder what the transfer will be like. Because it's the first one coming out of Old Gold Media where they're actually doing this. And I said, well, you know, that all intents and purposes, I should think they've used the same sort of like group that all the others do. So maybe it'll be good. But our crowning moment of it all is it puts an emphasis that maybe at last, Sapphire and Steel will come out on Blu-ray at last, because we've been waiting ages and ages and ages and ages for Sapphire and Steel. As much as I love the Sweeney and I'm going, yay, and I'm going to buy it, I'm going, oh, come on, can we have Sapphire and Steel now? Please?
Yeah.
Please, can we have Sapphire and Steel? For God's sake. What you doing? Waiting for Joanna Lumley to peg it? Because we've already had David, McCallum peg his, he's now in the ground. So, are you waiting for Joanna Lumley to do it and then bring it out? What is that? Because everybody that's been associated with that show is dead. Apart from Joanna Lumley. I mean,
I've got a feeling she might be around a long time. She looks very healthy for her age.
She's been married a long time now, isn't she?
Yeah.
She married a musician, didn't she? She married a musician from an orchestra.
Oh.
Yeah.
She always looks very, very good for her age. I think she'll be around a long time,
Yeah, I still don't class her as a Bond girl, though. No.
Oh, well, yes, she's only that much in the credits, just in mention. You have to be looking, really searching to find her. Yeah, I know. And Tony says, I had to work that comment of yours out, Jamie. All right,
what dirty bastard.
Yeah. On a serious note, I hope your mum is on the mend, Delboy.
Don't try and get on my good side. Yeah. Don't try and get on my good side after you called me a dirty bastard.
Jamie gets rant. I'm safe. And then he said, Tony, Tony says, BBC Archives have all the colour series of Softly Task Force. Quite a few of the original black and white earlier series just called Softly are missing. It tends to be all the black and white stuff.
Yeah, always black and white.
Yeah. And Tony says, I didn't escape the rant. No, I'm afraid you can't help. He can't help himself.
There's only one more for me to do a rant at, and I'm leaving it to a bit later. But he's got two initials at the beginning of his name. One beginning with S, and that'll come a little bit later on. I only do the rants to the people I love. That's all I do.
We're honoured. We're honoured.
It's a sign that I think so highly that I need to swear at you a lot.
Yeah. Bookman Movies says, anyone watched Adolescence yet? I've heard everybody talking about this series. So have a lot of mention. Stephen Gray miniseries, 4 episodes. Powerful stuff and utterly gripping. I shed a tear at the end of the last episode. Yes, Stephen Graham's a great actor.
Yeah,
Actually.
yeah.
But
I've
yeah,
heard
I've heard a lot of people
he's working on now a post-apocalyptic thing, isn't he? Another 4-episode thing. But
Yeah.
apparently it's got an agenda, and Denny said, "Do you know what? That's put me right off because he's done something really good. And now he's got an agenda in the next thing."
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it was just something that he said. I don't know whether it's true or not, but I must admit, Denny knows so much. He scours everything.
He must every bit of information.
Yeah, I get so much information from him. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, Tony says most of Dixon and Doc Green are missing. Yeah. Adolescence is on Netflix. Highly recommended. Stephen Graham is phenomenal at the moment. Yeah, we said that. Yeah. We haven't heard what Delboy watched yet. Oh, did I miss it? Yeah, we did have that. Yeah, he came and.
No, hang on a minute. None of your bloody business. What I watched. What's it got to do with you? Do I go up to you and say, "Oh, hang on a minute, Tony, what have you been watching this week?" No, we don't do it. We don't do that because what you watch is shit, right? Nobody's bloody interested, right? We're up here talking about what we want to talk, not you. We're not entertaining you. We're entertaining the world, right? Not you. Just get back in your corner. That's anyway. Over to you.
Joe says I was like so missed Ian's film watches too. And then he said I watched quite a bit this week. All right, Jamie said. And then Ian's saw mainly DVD Jamie's this week, of course. Yeah,
all yours.
Yeah,
all of your stuff.
Yeah,
nobody know about it. Every week it's all your shit, right? You just piss off, jog on.
Well, and Black Mirror. Don't forget, I watched that. I've talked about Black Mirror. The Fablemans, Hard Boiled, What's Up, Dog? No, I think it's. I don't know. Is that the Looney Tunes thing? Or is
no,
that
What's Up, Doc is Barbara Streisand.
I was just going to say Barbara Streisand because I saw somebody showing the box set with that in. Barbara Streisand box set. Anyhow, The Roaring Twenties, A Quiet Place Day One, Play Misty for Me, and The Boy and the Heron.
And I tell you what, if I was every single one of those, I know is quite good, but Play Misty for me sticks out a mile.
Yeah,
as being the one that I would watch out of every single one of those. That's there.
It was the first film he directed.
Play Misty for me was such an important film for me that when I went to California and I drove up the I-1 interstate, to Carmel, in California, that I wanted to know where all the sets were because it's all along the coastline and it's just outside San Francisco where that was actually filmed. Play Misty for me. What a film. And it's his directorial debut, isn't it? Or did he do one before
it's his
that?
debut.
His directorial debut. Yeah. Such a film that got overlooked at the time and now people rave over it, and I'm going, welcome to my world. I've known that's a good film for about 40 years.
Yeah, so have I. I saw it at university.
Why are you only talking about it now? 40 years I've been watching that film. Bloody marvelous.
Yeah, I saw it on big screen. Brilliant. Let's have a look.
I watched Hard Boiled myself, right, the other day.
Yeah,
it was quite good, right? Only I burnt my hand when I was getting the eggs out of the water. Right. It was a bit boring at first, right? Watching these bob up and down in the water, right? But it got exciting when I put my hand in and burnt myself. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah.
We're not talking eggs. Oh, sorry.
Excellent. All right. Did the TVs have those Tony movie rental stickers on? No, I haven't seen the first two Quiet Places, Play Misty and What's Up, Doc, seen on TV years ago. Yeah, they have been on TV.
Yeah.
I remember them.
What's Up, Doc's an unusual one because everybody ranted and raved about it as being a fantastic comedy, and I was going, "Where's the jokes?" You have to sort of like watch the film to understand why it's funny, but it's not funny as in what we consider funny, you know, like like an Eddie Murphy film, or you know, like or Trading Places. It's very much the events that go into another event that goes into another event type of comedy with no laughter track and no one-liners that you can actually recite from it. But it is funny for its time. But I must admit, I thought it was dry when I first watched it.
I saw it at the cinema. I saw it as a double bill with someone. Oh God, I can't remember. But that was an early film that I watched at our local flea pit. Yeah. Let's have a look. You're giving Del ammunition now. First time watchers of What's Up, Doc, and Play Misty for me. Really enjoyed both of them. Yeah, well, I'm glad you did. Good films. Got to give Delboy something to rant about, Tony. I know he needs his rants.
I have to get all my frustration out for the week out in a gap of 3 hours. What do you expect?
Yeah. It's quiet in here tonight. Must be something good on TV. Yeah, mind you, we don't get massive audience. We've got 11 at the moment, so that's not bad for us. Is Si at the Newcastle match tonight? Oh, well, football it probably is. They're winning 5-0 at the moment. Still half hour to go too. Blooming heck, 5-0 up. Huh. Okay.
Yeah, shame about Aston Villa last night. I heard it all over the radio saying that they could have gone through, into the European, into the next stage, but
they didn't, did they?
Basically, they had an uphill struggle, and then they were down at the very beginning, and then they got 3 goals in succession. They only needed 1 more to take it going to time, and they just couldn't do it. And all I kept thinking about this morning was my dad, because my dad was a Coventry and Aston Villa supporter, right? Coventry whenever I was around because of me. But Aston Villa because that's what his dad and him used to talk about. And Aston Villa, it was very. I have to say thank you as well, really, because I tell you what, I'm dead jealous of that sticker album you've got. You had Coventry players in there. I was going, there was a bit of everything in there.
I know.
And it's funny that when you think back to the 60s, right, 69 and all of that sort of stuff, how many cities were in that league, that Premiership, that League One, which we now call the Premiership, right? Like you think that you don't even hear in League 4 now anymore. It's like what it's like. What do you mean, bloody Welwyn Garden City? What the fuck are you talking? Who are they? What's all that about? I mean, Yeovil. Jesus Christ! When was the last time I heard Yeovil? No, it's just that I kept thinking to myself, what would my dad be thinking if I was showing him the video of Ian, with all these pictures?
Oh, the stickers,
my dad would have been reciting everything about those players.
Yeah. You do. I remember collecting. It's funny because it was about the trading cards. I used to collect football cards as well. You used to get loads of football cards, and you knew them all. And then you were swapping them at school.
Did they come with bubble gum, or
you had them as well. Bubble gum.
You had a sticker. You had a stick of bubble gum that tasted like cardboard.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I remember at school, you'd have your pockets. I did full of them of swaps, and you'd go to school and you'd swap them with your mates and what have you.
Do you know what we used to do later on? That we used to play a game where you had to throw the card at the wall, and when it landed on the floor, your card had to land on top of the card that was there for you to get it, right? It was almost like a game, where a bit of skill. Trouble was, I just think to myself, weren't I stupid? I mean, I was throwing a card against the wall. That's a way of keeping it in mint condition. I mean, I was smashing the bloody cardboard against the brick wall, you daft idiot. Why didn't you just say, "Oh, can I have that card, please?" Not you
Yeah,
can have one of my doubles, like you just said. I mean,
yeah.
that's the intelligent way of doing things. No, I was throwing them at brick walls, weren't I?
Y- Do you
Stupid.
know, collecting those cards, it would be very difficult to get complete sets
Yeah.
because there was no where you could check. I don't remember him saying that you could send off for them. Whereas on that sticker album that I had, that I completed, I was able to get enough where I could send off for those that were missing. But that was only because they were stickers.
You
But the
didn't
actual
mention it.
playing cards,
I was just gonna
cards, you
say,
couldn't.
and I don't remember it being in the video, but did you have to send away for the book, or was the book with the cards
Oh
when
no, the
you
book I could buy that at the newsagent.
So it was
I'd
on the
go to
newsagent stand,
newsagent,
yeah? It was on the
and
newsagent stand.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they would sell the book. They sold the book with the cards.
Was there
With the
was there a
stickers.
was
With
there
the
a point
stickers.
where the stickers were still being sold, but you couldn't get the book anymore?
Possibly was. I would imagine that would happen, yeah. But
Did your dad then have to scour the whole of Leeds looking for a newsagent that might still have the book still somewhere or something? What?
no, I was lucky. I did spend a lot of money, and I managed to get enough where because they're crafty, aren't they? You can't complete your album unless you have. You can only send for so many. They limit what you can send for.
Right.
So you had to. I think you couldn't order any more than maybe about 15, 10 or 15, something like that. They were really crafty. And so you had to keep spending, you had to get to that figure. And once you got enough, that was it, send off for them because you're wasting your money. Otherwise, you're going to waste your money. But as I said, the other cards, you never knew what was complete. You just had loads in your pocket. There's no way of checking, you know.
Yeah, no internet, you see.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
That's what I thought.
all
Why
word
couldn't
of
you
mouth
check?
and
Yeah.
you know.
And all you had is other kids at school to swap them, and that was it. You know.
But just to end it there, I mean, because I really did like it. I mean, I found it very entertaining, and of course, on some of the players you were mentioning, of course, I'd heard of some, but not all.
Yeah.
What I was thinking about is that it must be lovely to have that. I'd have no idea what sort of value you could do it, but you used to be a stamp collector, didn't you? So you probably have an idea. Yeah. You probably have an idea on that. But there was
pretty rare.
The thing that I wanted to say is because you mentioned the year 1969, I think you said in
69 to 70 season. That's what it was. Yeah.
Even if you watch ITV3 on a Saturday morning when they do the big match revisited, right? Yeah. They show the football of the era. Yeah. I don't think they've gone back further than 1971. I think it's because they've got the colour football games.
Yeah.
I don't see many black and white football games when they're showing it. Yeah. I wonder if that's because those were destroyed.
Yeah.
Don't know.
That's a good point. I mean, it's like I know at BBC when they've looked back at Georgie Best.
Yeah.
And he played some great games. I didn't have some of his great performances. I know that. But on the other hand, they have had one where you do see some of his classic things. But I was thinking people like Georgie Best, does the newer generation probably wonder who he was?
Yeah, I do myself wonder about that. But if you mention Pele, everybody seems to sort of know what you're
everybody
talking
know
about,
Pele, right? But would they know Georgie Best?
The problem I have with Georgie Best is that I lost an awful lot of goodness about Georgie Best when he threw away his second liver. I mean, basically, you've been given another liver, right? Another your second one, and you're going now, please respect life.
Yeah,
he just goes and falls off the wagon again and dies. You just go to yourself, do you know what? You've got to lose a bit of respect for that.
Yeah, I agree, especially as then he had a wife who was very supportive of him. He had somebody who was really supportive, and that's what
and he was
did.
a cheating. He was a cheating bastard.
Yeah. Because you surprised the woman would stick with him.
My dad was telling me that whenever, because obviously that Manchester United would play against Coventry and all that sort of stuff, and they'd go to the Coventry ground. My dad there used to be a pub right near where Coventry Stadium was, where all the players went afterwards. He was chatting up all the girls.
Oh yeah.
He'd have a girl that night.
Yeah.
My dad turned around and he said, no word of a lie, you know.
It's interesting that they were a great team, but didn't win the champions. You know, they didn't become champions in that era, and they should have done. You'd have thought, but Arsenal were a team. Or Leeds, I have to say Leeds, of course. But we were more consistent.
Just to end the football, because I mean we are here to talk about other stuff as well.
Yeah,
I think the thing that my dad always imposed upon me, he always turned around and he said, "I don't like the modern game. If you look back and you see these players and they're playing fantastic with a bloody heavy football, I'm telling you now, you hit that on your head, you're going to be bloody knocked out, right? That's how hard that pigskin was. These people were out there, no word of a lie, golden on a football, right?
Yeah.
Moving around the pitch. And I tell you what, on Monday, there'd be plumbers. And they would be welders, and they would be bricklayers. They got nothing money-wise. Nothing. These prima donnas, my dad would turn around now and he said, they go out, they play one game and they can buy a bloody 3-bedroom semi-detached house each week. Each week we're talking. And you're going, that's just ridiculous. When it gets to that level where you can, all you have to do is after a month's money, and I'm talking about a month for me, right? A month, right? You can buy 4 houses, you know that you're being paid too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
Because these people are also paid weekly.
Yeah.
Right? It's attendance on the pitch and how you know that's how you get your money, right? On this. Plus obviously the promotion and side of things and all that sort of stuff. But what I'm trying to say is they moan and say, "Oh, it's raining, boss. I might get wet." Bloody hell. You want to watch these bloody games back in the bloody 1969, mate? You want to see weather?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The ground. I saw one where the ground was so hard it was frosty, right? The bloody ball looked like a function, right? When it landed on it. You know,
what about when it was foggy?
These people had studs on and tried to. They couldn't break the earth with it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I loved it when you had a foggy match, when you get a patch of fog on the pitch and disappear. The players.
I can't see the football anymore. Do you think that was offside? No.
They would never do that nowadays.
But it also amuses me on how much black and white footage they've still got of things like Pot Black.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like, why haven't you scrubbed them, BBC? Because I mean, I'll tell you what, you know, I mean, I can't tell which colours are red and yellow in a black and white bloody shot, right? So you know, for all those watching in black and white,
that's right. It's the famous commentary
behind the yellow. You know, thanks for that. Yeah, cheers. Right, but apparently they've got the full set of Pot Black, right? Scrub Doctor Who. Black and white shows of a pool game that's based on colour. Thanks. Cheers for that. Yeah. We live in a stupid world. Scrub them.
Yeah.
Actually,
anyhow,
I don't know if you know this, right? I don't know if you know this. I always wondered how you followed on the radio a football game. Right, I found this out the other day. Right, they used to put the pitch on the evening newspaper, right, and zone it up. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4, Zone 5, all of this sort of stuff. so that when you were following on with the radio, you could actually find out where they were at what end of the pitch. Right? I didn't know that. So basically, the newspaper and the radio became your TV. That's how you were able to follow a football game. Because I was always going, how the hell do I know what bloody they're talking about? You keep saying that he's passed it to him and him and him and him. I don't know which direction they're going. Are they going up the pitch? Are they going down the pitch? Got no bloody idea. They zoned it all out.
Yeah.
Right? And you followed it on your newspaper. I didn't know that. See, you're learning things on here, folks. I'm just by the way, I'm just telling you, you're right. You're getting a free lesson here, right? You can send all checks to Delboy, right? I don't mind, checks. I accept checks. I don't mind. I'm not proud. Credit cards, I prefer them, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll give you the address at the end. Right. It'll be in the description.
Yeah, put his credit card.
So anyway, rant over and about information about football all finished with.
The one thing I'd just like to say just before I go, and it did strike me, is that Arsenal must have been one of the most consistent teams going. They've always been up there in the old First Division and now in the Premiership. I don't think they've ever gone down. I don't think Arsenal have ever been relegated. I don't know whether that's true, but I get that impression.
No, I think they have.
Teams.
No, I think they have. I think Arsenal were relegated and came back up, and I think that happened in the 70s.
Well, sure. I don't know. I can't imagine. I thought they were consistently good.
I was surprised when I heard that Chelsea was relegated down to League.
Oh, Chelsea have been relegated. I remember that.
I think Arsenal did. But I mean, what I'm trying to say is it only happened once and they were back up, and then it never happened again.
They've been so consistent of Arsenal.
Because they used to say that about Coventry.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Coventry well, that's what I said in the thing. You never believed. They always said Coventry would stay up.
Coventry was one of the oldest, longest, most established teams. Yeah. In fact, my dad took my mum to a Coventry game, and it was the game that took them into League One.
Oh.
And then they stayed there all the way up until, they sold their ground, and then they were in the Rico, and then basically they went down and down and down and down, and they've never been back up. But that's where you see the bad side of football. How people money. It all goes into the
bad owners make it terrible. Well, once you get some of these buyers who bought football clubs have made a mess. It's happened to quite a few clubs. It's tragic for fans.
My dad did tell me about a little known football team. Back in the day, I think they were called Leeds. I mean, I did hear about him talk about them once, but it was sort of like on the back of a fag packet or something about how shit they were or something. Anyway, but anyway, let's carry on. We don't need to talk about that much more, do we? So,
It's all other teams were jealous of Leeds. We stood out, we could take it,
you
we could give it as well. Quite likely, would love Manchester City to finish outside Champions League spots. Right. Yeah, obviously,
isn't it funny that the more you keep seeing a team at the top and the top and the top and the top, but you get bored of it and you go, you know what? I'd love them to come down a peg or two.
Yeah, it's true.
It happened to Manchester United, right? And they've never gone back up and been
That's
there
right.
since Fergie left, right?
And now it's Man City.
And now everybody's going, I wonder if they'll ever get to the top again and we'll have all that happening all over again, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same with Formula One. It was like Schumacher was there for about 7 years.
People they want to change. They don't want to
Hamilton was there for about 7 years, and people just think, I'm bored. I want to be out to win now. There you go.
I think that's why Newcastle being successful has surprised a lot of people, but are quite pleased. I think that Newcastle have actually won something, and because they've always been a team that is seen as not being, not getting there, not winning anything. So
I saw Newcastle play
people like
Coventry,
it.
and Shearer was there, right?
Yeah.
My dad said, "Watch him. He's a goal-hanging bastard." No word of a lie. He said, and then he told me about other great goal hangers.
Yeah.
Right. He said, "I'll tell you what, Greavesy was a goal hanger, right?
Oh,
He used to be
Greavesy,
at the
yeah.
right.
Remember him,
He would
yeah.
always be at the top near the goal, right?
Yeah.
And all he'd ever do is parade around there, waiting for somebody to pass him
Yeah,
the ball.
that's it. Do all the work and just, all right, there you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another goal in, running up and down the pitch like this. He said he called him a goal lagging bastard. I'll never forget it.
Right. We've got new. There's only 6 people in here tonight. Oh well, we've gone up to 11 now, so that's something. Wow, earliest ever Dell publicity. Oh yeah, I gave it early tonight because I thought I'll forget otherwise.
That's what I was talking about. Tony and his new fleet of cars.
Delboy. Oh no, you need to do a Jelly Goldsmith appreciation video. Oh, you've said it now. You've just spoiled it.
Who are you talking about? Don't know who he is.
Oh no, you've got him now. I thought we might have a free zone, but we never get one.
I haven't said it yet, have I?
But somebody else has now. There you are. I've thought he should do something like that, but even though my opinion, I mean, I'm not into it, but he should do things like that.
If you look at my blog this week, right, I happened to comment about a YouTube channel that actually plays whole scores. You don't have to actually go out and buy a soundtrack album. You can go on YouTube and they've got the whole tracks, right, all there, right?
Yeah.
And I happen to mention one of my favorite Jerry Goldsmith scores that never gets mentioned, and it's called The Edge, right? And it stars Anthony Hopkins, and it's got Malik Baldwin in it, and a bloody big grizzly bear trying to kill him, right? Absolutely fantastic film, right? Which never got a Blu-ray release over here, right? Never got a Blu-ray release. I've got it on DVD. You can get it in the States, but it'll cost you something like 25 quid or something, right? For a Blu-ray copy that came out at the dawn of Blu-ray at that, right? So it'd be a bad transfer, whichever way you bloody well look at it. But the score in it, it's a gorgeous score. I mean, it's just one of those. It sounds, I suppose, in a way, it sounds a bit like Rambo. I mean, it is trekking through the woods. It is being stalked by a bear. I suppose you could sort of like say it's similar to Rambo. But I tell you what, if all he ever did was scores that were as good as Rambo ever was, if you've ever listened to the Rambo scores, you'll know full well that the best thing about them bloody films was actually the music that was in it. Right? Everybody knows that. I mean, Christ, all 3 albums of the first 3 Rambo films done by Jerry Goldsmith are just absolutely gold, and yet Rambo 3 crap. You could turn around and say in Afghanistan and bombs and all that sort of stuff, and the second one is all action again. The first one's brilliant.
The first one's brilliant, yeah.
The first one. Doesn't even have Rambo in the title. I mean, First Blood, that's all it was called back in the day when I knew it. And it had a beautiful song at the end, it's a long road, I mean, it was done by a bloke called Hill, I think. Forgotten what his first name was, but it definitely had Hill in the surname. Fantastic track, but it was, again, composed by Jerry Goldsmith. But Jerry Goldsmith is not my favorite.
I know.
I mean, I've mentioned it many times before. Georges Delerue is probably my top composer, and many people don't even know who he is. He did 60 years of music, 60 years of it. It's just that because he was French, You didn't really get to hear too much of it. I think I'll tell you what, if you want to hear a Georges Delarue a good one, listen to the album Steel Magnolias. The film's not particularly good, Steel Magnolias. I'm not really interested in a load of girls talking about cancer and all that sort of stuff. I'm not really into all of that. But there's a Tom Selleck film called Her Alibi. Do you remember that film? Her Alibi with Tom Selleck, where he's a writer talking about murder, and he basically invites this girl in, and she tries to kill him, and he thinks he's being stalked by this girl in this house. Her Alibi, fantastic. Georges Delarue scoring that, brilliant. That's all I'm going to say. I will do a podcast at some point. I've got a lot to say about music.
Yeah,
but I mean, we'll move on because I don't want to bore people. But the one thing I like talking about when I'm doing music is I like to have a rapport with someone, and I know that when you go quiet, you're just
I'm listening.
You're just letting me talk. But
yeah, I don't mind because I'm trying to understand film scores, but I don't.
I mean, I asked you last week. I said, look, I gave you a track by Georges Delarue, and you turned around and you said you loved it. You thought it was great.
Yeah, I did.
That cheered me up no end because I thought.
I did. I thought it was beautiful. It was dramatic. It was emotional. It was. I really enjoyed it. But it's interesting. You see, I still watch films, and I'm not listening to the score as much. You know, I know that I don't understand it. It's the way I've tuned in. Music is always the album for me.
Well, like I said, for me, it was my dad and westerns.
Yeah.
So I listened to so many western scores.
Yeah.
Right. My dad had no end of albums, the Searchers and all of this sort of stuff. Right. Albums full of it. I mean, one of his favorites was Ennio Morricone, and I mean that's why I've got a soft spot for Ennio Morricone.
Yeah.
Or the Maestro, as we call him, right? But I love western scores. It's amazing. They all sound a little bit the same, right? Depending on what you're listening to, right?
Yeah.
But there's this. Every time you put one on, I can almost feel the breeze on me. It's almost like I can feel like I'm in the middle of a chasm in a desert, with all I can see is gravel everywhere and maybe a cactus an odd cactus somewhere, or something like that, right? Every time I can still hear now the theme to Bonanza and High Chaparral and all of that sort of stuff. When it came to TV. When it came to films, it was gorgeous. It was like on another scale for the music. That's all I got to say, really. I do love music.
Yeah.
But,
for me, it's like debating.
But
is Led Zeppelin 3 better than Led Zeppelin 4? Discuss. There's a lot to discuss on that. Is the folk influence stronger on?
I am a little bit like you though, Ian. I cannot wait till Friday comes along. I turn over to BBC 4. They're showing the top of the pops from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and then they'll do a dedication to whatever it is that night.
Yeah, I love those album ones.
The other night they did the Bond ones. The other night they did Shirley Bassey. They showed Shirley Bassey come back from not doing anything for 10 years to do a new album. These writers suddenly did music for her. And you actually see her trying to record the music in a studio, and she's a totally different beast. Oh my God. She was there going, you expect me to sing this? This is, I need to be able to be part of it. I want to be in it.
Yeah.
And every time I see it, it gave me a great appreciation of it, because every time she sings Diamonds Are Forever, she does these actions with her hand. Hold it, caress it, and all of this.
That's right. Yeah.
She's almost acting.
Yeah, a performance, really. A performance.
Yeah, and you don't see that anymore. They just go up there, sing. There you are. Mic drop. What's all that about?
I know it's a big discussion point, but I think a lot of modern music is not good because they're not playing instruments as they should. and people are not singing as they should. They can change all the voices. They can so the voice is perfect and the instruments sound. And that surely one thing about music, I'm going into a rant, is that music is often about those mistakes as well that are considered. It's not all perfection. It's what makes it something special. And trying to make something this perfect to me is not, and the recording studio is doing a bad thing to me when it's doing that. An artist should go into the recording studio and a band or whatever, and they should just perform how it is, not start getting into all the technology of it all. They should just do the performance. Anyhow, that's my rant over. Right.
So just to end there, yeah, a little bit. You call that a bloody rant?
Yeah, no, I could have gone angry. I could have gone angry.
Right?
I didn't.
This is how you rant, right? You don't do rant like, there's my rant over. Rant is like this, you stupid bastard. You do it like
this. Oh dear. You know, I could have gone into one of these why modern music is crap. Why I could have gone into a rant why it's so crap nowadays. It really is crap because they've lost the ability to actually perform. It's all technology. It's all this shit that makes it absolute shit. Anyway, there we are. I nearly went there.
Anyway, I'm just going to check on my mum, make sure she's okay. I'm going to be a couple of minutes, and then I've got a rant at Cy Robson. I've got to do it, right? He's the only one I haven't mentioned tonight. That bastard Cy Robson.
What has he come in?
He turned up late. How dare he turn up late? Right? You get here on time, young man. 8 o'clock. Right? None of this. Oh, I think I'll swan in at the end and start talking about films that no bugger's ever heard of. Right? You get here on time, young lad. You don't do this swanning in shit. Right, anyway, I'm just going to go and check my mum. I'll be back in a minute.
I'll get through. Oh, right. Okay. Right. 4 of those 6 may be new. All right. Okay, Tony. Look forward to your 7 Samurai video. Definitely. It's one of the best films ever made, in my opinion. That is some statement. That really is some statement. But I've never seen it, but I know it's always one that's considered influential, isn't it? It's one of those films that is considered very influential. But have you noticed, you look at these lists and the greatest films ever made, and quite often you look at them and think, well, is it really the greatest film ever made? It's all subjective, isn't it? But often the same films pop up on those lists. But there we are. Hello, Orson Welles. I don't even want to mention those films, but anyhow. What you watch, Tony, he says, and then Tony says, couple of Peckinpah films, Cross of Iron, great film, and Major Dundee, that's Charlton Heston, isn't it? Charlton Heston. The studio cut so much out of Dundee, it feels a bit disjointed and hard to follow, but still an epic Western, yeah. Charlton Heston is an actor I like a lot. Does he make bad films? I don't think he does. I don't think he did. Sorry. Absolutely wonderful. I love the fact that he does all these different genres of films. Absolutely wonderful. Great actor. Absolutely. Haven't you seen Hard Boiled, Tony? You need to jump on that if you haven't. One of the best action films of all time. Another sweeping statement. Yeah, interesting. And then we have Cy saying, evening gang. Hello, Cy. Yeah, you'll have heard his rant. is already. Thank you for coming in. Brilliant. Bookman Movies. I sold my copy of Major Dundee. I wasn't keen on it. I love Cross of Iron though. Top 3 peck and par for me. Yeah, I would say I agree actually there definitely. James says howdy Si. Your lads are playing well tonight. Oh yeah. The team. Si says hi Bookman. Tony says, I've heard of it, never seen it. Not got into Asian cinema much at all yet. Definitely something to look into. Yeah. It is. There's so much things to watch, isn't there? And, always worth looking into, trying to find new things. It says, we're on fire. On fire. I honestly believe that we can catch Arsenal in second. Well, that would be great confidence, I suppose. Yeah, definitely. Evening, Si. Tony says, and Si says, hi, Tony. Says, you need to, Tony, there's so much great Asian films. You've given me an idea for a video now. Cheers. Yeah, good. That's it. You could do a video of all these Asian films. That would be great. It would get people perhaps even more interested in some of these films. Yeah. By the way, Tony, hard boiled is awesome. All right, let's put thumbs up there. The Killer is excellent too. I'm a big fan of John Woo. I've heard him mentioned a lot, but I would say I haven't seen that many films. Action films, aren't they? Oh, you weren't keen on D&G, Jamie. Maybe because of the studio cuts. Was it the restored 2005 version you saw? It has 13 extra minutes and it helps the narrative. Yeah, it makes such a difference, doesn't it, when studios have cut films and then you restore these cuts, and often it can make such a big difference to a film. I have the Oro box set with the 2 cuts on, Tony says. Si says, I've just been to watch Drop at the cinema. I've heard this one mentioned. It's a decent little suspenseful thriller. I also went to see Death of a Unicorn. I've heard that one mentioned. But the projector decided to pack in half an hour in. Blooming heck. Oh, dear.
I don't want to hear bloody excuses on why you were late half an hour in just because the projector died, you miserable bastard. What's all that about? You get here on time, I've told you.
Just one question as a Yorkshireman. Do you get your money back? Do you get your money back if you've seen half a film?
Is it worth ranting to get your money back? What is it?
Get your blooming money back.
What is it? 10 pence to go to the...
You're not getting it.
It's like 10 pence to go to see the cinema up there, isn't
it? I don't know how much it costs to go to the cinema, but it must be at least a tenner.
Yeah, 10 pence. 10 pence.
You want some money back? Oh, by heck.
Yeah, can I have my 10 pence back, please? You what's going on?
Citizen Warfare for me at the weekend, Si, I've heard great things for both. So we'll be looking forward to you mentioning them on your channel then, Jamie. Yeah. I think it was the extended cut of Dundee, Tony. It was the Arrow special edition. Yeah, there is one, an Arrow one, I know. I really fancy Sinners. It looks decent. That's good, Si says. Tony says, same set as I have, Jamie. I'm quite a Western fan. Maybe that sways my opinion a bit. Yeah.
When is Tombstone next week? Just out of hand. I think it is, isn't it?
Sorry?
Is Tombstone on Steelbook next week? I think it is, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm sure Jamie will know.
Jamie did a homage to Val Kilmer
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, yeah, that is bittersweet that film's coming
Yeah.
out. Basically, he died. And ever
Yeah.
since then, I've been going, actually, that should be out now, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, perhaps it will. I don't know. I love westerns, but I thought Dundee dragged a bit. Just felt I wouldn't need to watch it again. That Sai says, did anyone see the trailer for The Life of Chuck? It's based on a short story by Stephen King. Not a horror, but more in line with his Richard Bachman stories.
Yeah, Richard Bachman.
I know that. Yeah,
he did The Running Man under that name.
That's right. Yeah. I've not heard anything about that film, but yeah,
I've heard of it, but I don't know too much about
it. Jamie says, got loads more westerns that I enjoyed more. Oh,
tell me, up north, right? Have they got past the Laurel and Hardy films now? Have they actually moved into colour yet? I just wondered. You know what I mean? They're that far behind in technology. They still got lamps and bloody candles lighting up the bloody projectors, aren't they, up there? Just wondered.
I don't know. Yeah, fair enough.
Have they got past the bloke playing the organ yet for the music?
Oh, yeah.
The sound score.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was going to ask, have you got that new release of the Laurel and Hardy that's come out, of the silent films?
Wow. I heard that over in Australia they've been putting them into 4K. So I was wondering if I should wait and see if that was going to happen. I did see that they were going to release those, but I couldn't work out whether they were a Blu-ray or whether they were 4K or not. And I haven't checked again, so I need to do that. You reminded me.
Because I thought, you'd be on those. I saw them out.
Might stink. Yeah. If it wasn't for the fact that Australian films cost me such a bloody lot of money when I want to buy it, you know, I mean, I'd have them now, you know.
Yeah.
Take it like this. I would rather buy those. This week they've just announced that Film Vault. Now, Film Vault is something that I really like. The Film Vault series. They do these big packaging with art cards and a little crystal inside it. And they've just released their third wave. And do you know what they are? It's The Shining and Poltergeist. How many times, right, are we going to buy The Shining and bloody Poltergeist? Crying out loud.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's always the same film.
How can I get excited?
It's the same ones all the time.
Yeah, but it's also. I mean, okay.
Don't you think they're kind of taking you as collectors, that you'll buy anything for your collectors? Well, it sounds a bit rip off and get your money thing to me. I mean, I'm not into all this, but that's what it seems. If it's something that's been re-released all the time, the same films, well, they must know, that we can guarantee we can sell these because they'll buy any shit we put out. And that it's
they've released them in two formats, right? They've got a steel book which cut down for 30 quid, and they've got the more expensive one that's 50 quid, right? In a deluxe packaging, right? But I tell you what, I just turned around and went, I'm only buying these two now in the deluxe versions, because I am not going to get burnt like I did with the steel books of the last ones. It was just the same ones in a steel book with a sort of like a PVC see-through plastic coating over the top of it, right? And to be quite honest, they called it a homage to the ones that people couldn't buy, the bigger editions. And I just turned around and I went, no, you're just reaping in money so that you can get
it.
But then when they get the next two films they're bringing out, they're all ones we've had 3-4 years ago that we've already bought in deluxe packaging and all that sort of. So what's the bloody point in that? There's nothing new in it. There's no new documentary in this. All they've done is they've put a little crystal in there and numbered them.
They're really trying to take the piss there, it seems to me. And they think you'll buy any. They must realize that eventually it will come to a point where collectors will say, "Well, I've had enough. I'm not going to be ripped off and get another one of these again." You know, it's ridiculous. But I know there is a collector's obsession, and they'll buy anything and anything. It just comes out,
Yeah.
But they know that, I think. But for people like me, it's well.
I'm trying to remain positive because I've watched a lot of negative this week. There's a guy called Media something or a Mid Media, and he was going on and saying, I think Arrow are having the worst start of the year going, right? And I was going, and he talked about one 4K that came out that's got a replacement program, and he was talking about he thought that the replacement program should go out to everybody that bought it. Why have you got to actually find it out yourself and then send it to them to actually get it back and all of this sort of stuff? And I was going, you miserable bastard, right? One film that's got a bit of a bug in
problem.
It. You think it's the worst bloody start for Arrow? The amount of good stuff that Arrow actually started off at the beginning.
Well, people have been praising them. I've heard people saying that Arrow are the best of doing the best work they've done.
It's like, why knock a good company like Arrow down when actually we're looking at Arrow as to enlighten us with stuff that we want to see, because at least it's different bloody films and not bloody the same old shit that we've seen 4 times now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just annoys me how we want, as physical media people, we want physical media to still be around. And there's this guy that's knocking it. And I'm just going, can't you say something good? You know what I mean? I mean, there is some good stuff there. Okay, they brought out a film and it had a bit of a problem with it. Oh, dear. It could happen to anybody in the remastering process. I mean, right at the end when they're putting stuff, it went wrong there. What about all of the months leading up to that, where they were getting it all up together and doing all this? This is how the box is going to look, and this is how the wrapping is going to be. They don't mention any of the good stuff there. You know, all that good work. It's all about, oh dear, it's got a bit of a bug in it. Has it? Oh dear, has it really? You know what I mean? I'm going.
But they'll replace the discs, don't they?
Yeah, and all you got to do is contact them. All you got to do is contact them. But apparently, Arrow have got to do all the work by contacting Amazon and HMV and all. They got to find out. Can you tell me all of your customers, and we'll send it out free of charge to all of them? Yeah. Just find it out yourself and send it off. I mean, the one thing I agree with is it needs to be highly publicized. A problem, right? But I don't expect the bloody company to get the names and addresses of everybody that bought it from Amazon and then send it out. No. Jesus Christ, man. How big do you think they got? You know, they'd spend a year collating all the names. You know what I mean? Christ. Get a life.
Yeah. It's quite easy what you do. All you do is just send an email with a copy of what you've got.
The receipt, that's it.
And that's it. Yeah, it's simple.
I did that with my Rocky set, and I got the discs instantly back from Warner.
No fuss.
No fuss.
Yeah.
I value the physical media industry enough that I actually read up about the discs that have got errors on them, and I then found out where I had to do it, and I sent it off, and I got it. You know, I must admit there must be a dozen films that I've got in the back here where there's probably errors on the discs, and I haven't figured out that there's a problem with them.
Yeah,
that's because I buy so much. I haven't got round to watching everything, right? But that is my own stupid problem. It's not. It's, you know, you do have to do a bit of research yourself. You need to appreciate what you've got.
Yeah, I've got a copy of 12 Monkeys, and I got it when it came out, and they said there was a fault on that, and I looked, and it was so, to me, it didn't really matter, so I didn't send it back. I've just kept it.
It was so funny when the Rocky ones came out because honestly, in the first 3 days they mentioned every film's got a problem. It said, there's the people's voices are high pitched in Rocky 2. The end credits 1 second missing at the end of Rocky 3. There was and I'm going 1 second of the credits. Jesus Christ! How close were you watching this?
You're right. It's a good point.
1 second of the credits. I'm going.
You wouldn't notice it.
Get a life.
Yeah.
Look at me. You missed the bit that says it was done in Panavision at the end. Oh, hell forbid, Jesus. At least the film was there.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
People love doing it. They love finding fault in anything. They do. They just love it. Yeah. Damn me.
And then there's all that AI is interfering with the restoration process. If you look at the crowd or something in Jaws 3, they look like Planet of the Apes. And I'm going, the crowd? I'm looking at the bloody skiers, right, on the water. I ain't looking at the crowd to see whether somebody's got a T-shirt on that says Spider-Man or something on it, right? I'm looking at the film. Crying out loud.
Oh well. Anyhow, Tony says, Del, I was going to send you the DVD of Sweeney Series 1.
Do you know what I say to that? You lying bastard. You lying bastard. You can send it to me. I don't mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And Si says, tell Mrs. Dell that I'm asking after her. There you are.
I will.
That's nice.
Si, thank you so much. I definitely will. I do talk about this stream actually to my mum an awful lot. And all my mum says is that she's just happy that I've got something to do in the evenings. And I say, Mum, I must admit, I'm finding it hard at the moment. I'm not sleeping well. But I tell you what, I wouldn't have it any other way. I want you in my life. I don't want you to go away. As far as I'm concerned, if I have to stay awake 19 hours, I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's what it means to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is not something that I have any resent for. You know what I mean? You do this because your mum means something to you. It's as simple as that. At some point, somebody's going to have to wipe my ass. Right? I'm going to be a geriatric person eating jelly every day or something, right? And somebody's going to have to wipe my ass. So there you are. That's how I look at it.
Well, I hope that I'm nearer to that than you, but I hope I'm gone before that. I don't
mean it's already happening, isn't it? It's already happening for you.
Like that. I wouldn't want it imposing on my son or anything.
No,
having to look. I'd rather I just die, hopefully.
It must be bloody awful. I've dropped something on the floor, so I do apologise. Carry on.
Tony says, I hope your mum is still verbally abusing me, Del.
She is.
Yeah.
She is. She told me to tell that Tony York off. She wants to know how you can afford all the stamps. Says she thought you only had about 50 pence in your bank account.
And then Andy makes Star Wars. Have you heard there's a Masters of the Universe film coming soon? If so, thoughts on your history with the He-Man universe? Apparently, the new film looks really good. Before Del answers that, it's not my era, and I wasn't into those films. The He-Man and all that stuff. It's not my thing. I was out doing other things.
I tell you what, I am surprised that you say that, because it's not about the films per se, but I would have said it was out of your era when it comes to the cartoon, where it came from for us. because many of us grew up with He-Man because we were just going to secondary school, and He-Man was sort of like He-Man was sort of like 82, 83. But Canon Cinema, when they brought out Dolph Lundgren and they brought out that film, that's mid 80s, 80, and you were still going to the cinema then. I'm surprised you wouldn't have gone and seen it, because it was more a sword and sorcery film than it was part of the cartoon, to be quite honest.
I must have associated it still with the cartoon or something. I didn't really.
Oh, you must have known about the cartoon then.
But it's someone that passed me by, really. But
I mean, my sister and I used to have arguments because she wanted to watch She-Ra and I wanted to watch He-Man. And I said, no, I don't want to watch them bloody women, bloody with swords and that. I want to watch bloody He-Man and that. I want to watch the girls going around on griffins and things flying about. What a load of bollocks that is. I want to watch the bloody men, with the bloody lasers and all this sort of stuff. I want to watch these women shit. You go watching it out in another room or something, right? But anyway, it was weird how the film came out. It was nothing really like what I thought it was going to be. And you look back at it now, and it's got Courtney Cox in it, and it's got the guy who plays Paris in Voyager. You know Voyager?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of his name.
And they're the love interest in it. And I'll tell you what, the best thing about the film is this musical key thing, right? It looks like a great big. It looks like something like Doctor Who's sonic screwdriver.
Yeah,
only it's the size of a flipping human, right? It's like a staff, but it makes all these coloured patterns come out, and it plays this like 6 or 7 note tune that I can even hear now in my head. It must have been a catchy tune. Right?
Yeah,
about 6 notes long, and even now I'm going, oh, what a tune that was! That's brilliant. But it was shit. At the end of the day, I've got it. I bought the deluxe version of it. You have to look at some of these films and go, do you know what? That was a good time. I went to the pictures.
It's the time.
I mean, they've just released, by the way, at the same time that they announced Maxine, right, on Steelbook, the same company's brought out Over the Top, Sylvester Stallone's arm wrestling film. Do you remember this arm wrestling? Where he's a trucker and he's trying to win his son back or something. I can't remember. It was that shit. They brought out a steelbook of it.
Oh dear.
I went, hey, a steelbook of that film. Jesus Christ. You might as well have brought out a steelbook of Stop or My Mum Will Shoot or something, right? I mean, who's gonna buy that shit?
Yeah.
Anyway, going back to He-Man. I love the theme tune, and yet it's only got one word in it. He-Man. That's it. Repeating over and over again, right? I still love the tune. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I love it, right? But I never really understood the why He-Man was so good. Probably because it was based on a toy line. Really, and I wasn't buying toys. I was just watching the cartoon, right? Because I liked animation, to be quite honest, right? I weren't into whether these people had got blister packs of figures where they twizzled and they could hold a sword in their hand, and you played little battles with them. Hey, take that, He-Man! Skeletor's gonna get me. What's all that shit? I was past all that. I was past all that by about 10 years, right? But I did like the music, and I did like the fact that these battles were going on. I kept seeing all the things that I ripped the thing to bits with, right? Apparently, all the power comes from this castle, Grayskull, right? That's why he goes, for the power of Grayskull. I was going, all you need is a nuclear bomb. Fire it at that bloody castle. That's the end of the cartoon. You got to do nothing else. What's all these battles every week trying to bloody beat He-Man and that? Just fire a nuclear missile at that bloody castle. They'll soon move. Right? You'll have won the war. Tell you that much. What's all that shit? Anyway, going back to the film. The film is pretty poor. but I enjoyed it. It's a popcorn, bit like Biggles. I could do a review.
Right, yeah.
I could do a review of He-Man, and I tell you what, it would probably be beat for beat the same review of Biggles.
Oh,
it's all right. It's just it's nothing, and it was made out to be huge, and it weren't.
Oh,
and it was pretty much the death knell for canon. You know what I mean? I mean, there wasn't much after that.
Yeah.
Canon there were a bit egotistical anyway. I was never a bit. Canon were big to me because we had an Odeon cinema and Canon films were shown all the time, right? But they were shown at cartoon. They were shown at sort of like children's club and all of this sort of stuff. I can still see the Canon symbol now with those little bands making up the sea and it expanding out and all of this sort of stuff. I used to like there was some good stuff from Canon, but it was just filled with rot. But anyway, my opinion of Masters of the Universe, kids all over the world loved it, and that's all that you got about it.
It was
and
popular,
and that's what it was all about. And as far as I'm concerned, if you've entertained kids and kids have got a memory of it, they think back to themselves and they go, "I enjoyed that." Then fair dues, you did the job proud. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
And, it may have only been 4 or 5 years. I mean, I know that they brought out a cartoon of it 2 or 3 years ago. Apparently, it's shit.
Yeah.
I never saw it. I never went back to it. To me, it's a snapshot in time that I respect because back then I had so many fingers in so many pies that every day was a new day for me. I was watching this show on this day. I was watching this show on another day. I was going to the cinema at the end of the week and watching this film. I was going to the shops on a Saturday and buying a new album. I was doing everything. I was playing a new computer game every Friday. My God. I wonder where that time went.
Yeah.
And if anybody was to ask me, if you could go back to a time where you were probably the most happiest, it would, even though I was bullied at school, I would probably still choose one of those years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
it's interesting because when my son was growing up about that age and he went to school, they all got it. It was all wrestling. So he was into all that. And I can't.
WWE. You mean Andre the Giant and all of that sort of stuff?
No, it was all
Rowdy Roddy
The Rock. Before he became an actor.
You're talking about even after Hulk Hogan and that. You're talking about the Undertaker and all of that.
It would have been, I suppose, 1996.
Yeah, that would be like Marvelous Steve Austin and all of that.
So to them, to kids at school, that was what we liked. It was a big thing for them. So
wrestling to me was Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks.
I know it was a totally different wrestling. But it was popular. It was just very popular, and that's how it was. Right. Did you hear the makers of Adolescent want to remake Threads? That's a complete contrast, isn't it? Threads. That's the nuclear thing. Aftermath.
Isn't that what I told you about? Where there's an agenda in it, and it's basically about a post-apocalyptic future.
Yes.
And apparently they've already said there's going to be a political agenda in it, and I went,
and which immediately makes you think it's not going to be so good. Yeah.
I'm glad I touched upon it. I couldn't remember what the show was called. That was all.
Yeah. Threads is always mentioned as one of those, nuclear films not to watch. It's quite horrific. Anyway,
I'm going to shut up because it's got to 10:30. We're not even halfway down the bloody crap.
Andy, did you see who's playing Skeletor? Jared Leto.
Is he?
Yeah.
Jesus.
And then he's laughing. Delboy, there you are. Rant overdose.
I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't even done a rant today.
You must be doing it. Do you think Fatal Attraction would have I suppose without playing Misty for me, I don't know. I know what you mean by that. I don't know. I don't think that's one that you can
Misty,
answer
it's
really.
amazing because Playing Misty for me almost starts off like it's an episode of Columbo. Right, it's those old opticals and the old pods and all of this sort of stuff, and a DJ that's going off every day to his job and all of this sort of stuff. I was almost wondering when Columbo was going to crop up and start going, who killed this bitch then, and all of that sort of stuff.
Sorry. Anyway,
I should think we need to really pay attention to Play Misty for me on how influential it was to later films.
This is what is so. Do you think Fatal Attraction would have ever been made if Play Misty for me hadn't existed?
I think they would, because it's just that I think Play Misty for me doesn't get enough airplay in regards to the influence it's had on other films.
I think Fatal Attraction would, because it was at the time of the AIDS. It was like a warning about AIDS and people sleeping around. So I think it would have got made even without Playing Misty for me. And they're both good films. I like them both. I think they're both very good.
Oh films. Christ, yeah. I've got both films.
Yeah. Si says, Muckman, Arsenal have just went 1-0 up against Real. Is that Real Madrid?
Real Madrid, that is,
yeah. I had a rant with a taxi driver the other morning. He didn't put his indicator on and nearly ran me over. Oh my God. You don't want that. Another epic Western watch this week, the 1960 version of Alamo. Wayne doing his usual performance. Preferred Richard Widmark's Jim Bowie. Lawrence Harvey gave one of his best performances. I know what you mean about John Wayne. That's his problem of John Wayne as an actor. He just can't do any other performance. It's one performance.
He seemed to dial it in, didn't he? I'm just going to dial in my performance today.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what film he did. He could do any film. It could be.
I wonder though sometimes whether that's down to the production company that said, "Look, we just want another John Wayne film, right? We want you to be just like that you were in that film, right?"
Yeah.
And he basically did so many each year. It just turned into something that became second nature to him. You know what I mean? If it had gone off the beaten track, they would have said, that ain't a John Wayne film. What the fuck's that? You know what I mean? Lost the cinema millions or something. You know?
Well, he did was it Genghis Khan he did? And everybody laughs at his performance. They still laugh at it.
But it's funny though, because I mean, I watched didn't he do a film, The Quiet Man, didn't he, where he was in Ireland?
Yes, that. Yeah, he did. Yeah,
he still plays John Wayne in that.
Yeah. Oh, he did one where he was putting out oil rig fires. Yeah. Is it Hellfire? Is it Hellfighters or something like that? And it's based on a true story of this bloke who went around putting fires out, but it's John Wayne in this other character still. It's just them putting out oil rig fires. Arsenal beat PSG, though. They're the team to beat at the moment. Yeah. I'm a tennis fan. I hate football. Laugh out loud, Frank says. Yeah, well, everybody.
Tennis is all over the news today with that English tennis player saying, "Oi, you French person, can you put some deodorant on?"
Oh,
it was all over the news today. Christ!
Oh yeah. Well, there's been a big thing, hasn't there, today? As I saw it, I didn't want to get into it anyhow, but there's been a big High Court decision, hasn't it? Appeal court decision.
That's about gender, isn't it? Yeah,
that's right. It's quite a big decision, which is good. I think it's quite a good positive thing, actually, what they've done. But anyway, I could get into a lot of trouble by saying that, but I won't.
I don't anyway,
So
it's a boring subject, so that's why I'm saying
it. Let's see. I think the winner will come from the Barcelona versus PSG tie. And Sai says, sorry, Frank. No complaints, mate. It's fine. Tony, big indoor league fan. Can't beat shove half penny and arm wrestling. Al City, good old fiery Fred Truman. That's all I remember. The indoor league. Yeah,
Tony York, get a life. Next.
Tony, was that presented by Fred Truman? Yes, it was.
Don't encourage him, you stupid bastard.
Wasn't that Fred Truman? Tony Hawk, I remember it. Yes. Jinx.
Christ, we'll be reminiscing in a minute about demolishing bloody big chimneys or something.
He says, both correct from God's own country. I couldn't have said it better. It is indeed.
God's own country. That's America, isn't
it? It's PSG versus Arsenal in the semi-final. All right, okay.
All I got to say today is up the arse. No.
Oh, dear. Yeah. See what I mean? I was right. Arsenal are always there, aren't they? They never go down. They're always up there. I have to respect them for that. I'm not a fan, but you have to respect Arsenal for what they do. And then laugh out loud, still went to those bar billiards. Oh, yeah, the bar billiards. Yep. I remember George Best. My son knows about him as well. But were Manchester United fans like most of my family? Oh, crikey, yeah.
Well, like I said, I lived in Manchester for 7 years, and I went to the Manchester United grounds an awful lot because Lloyd's Bank owned a director's box back then, so I could go on a Wednesday to the director's box and watch a game. But I was never a big fan of Manchester United. It was nice to go
I always think they're kind of funny the way they market themselves. They think they're better than they are because they call. I mean, imagine calling your ground the Theatre of Dreams. They're trying to make it as if it's some sort of gladiatorial Roman epic when you go and watch them. Yes, that's the arrogance of Man United. Yeah. I hope there aren't any Man United fans in.
Yeah, Ridley Scott's filming Gladiator 3 there next year.
Yeah, it's the Man United mentality. I don't understand it. PSG will win over the two legs. There you are. Football were different. You could actually tackle, and the pictures were shocking. You could tackle now. They'll go, oh dear, you've touched me.
I've chipped a nail. Oh shit.
Dear.
Look, I've got for a football game, and I haven't got one stain on my jeans. On my short.
He says,
I must be very lucky. Yeah.
It says here, could you imagine Pele or Maradona on the pitches the way the players are protected?
Yeah.
It's got a lot more than Messi and Ronaldo. You said it. Yeah. You're right. Spot on there.
I'll tell you what, half of those players like Messi and I mean, I am in awe of them, but at the end of the day, people are scared to go approach them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I better not tackle him. If I break his leg, I'll be in the news.
Yeah.
Basically, I'll be the man who destroyed Messi's
and you'd have all idiots sending death threats out to him and stupid things like that on physical media. I mean, physical on Facebook and
social
Twitter
media
and all that stuff. You'd have all these people sending out death threats. Ridiculous. It's a game. Anyhow, they'd have no chance against Tommy Smith or Norman Hunter or Ron Harris. They'd blooming show him. I'll tell you, blooming heck. They were the hard men. Yeah. I bet you got used to the variations in grey, Andy, for the ball colours.
Yeah, because he was watching the snooker in black and white.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, for all the money Manchester United, you'd think that if it was the Theatre of Dreams, is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Theatre of
a
Dreams,
lot
right?
of ball.
Right. Could one of your dreams, could it have had a roof? Because then you didn't have to have the rain stop playing on that a lot. If it's a theatre of dreams, right? Couldn't your money have bought a roof or something? Like even Wimbledon got a roof after a while, right? Didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there you are. Keep talking about how glorious your pitch is, and yet you ain't bought a roof for it yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's true. How true is that? Yeah, I know. They do talk a lot of bollocks at Man United.
They keep putting all their money into all the players' cars that they have to buy.
Oh yeah,
he's got to have a Bugatti. Oh, has he? Oh, what a shame. Can't he have a Vauxhall Corsa like everybody else? I've got to have a Bugatti.
I like the fact that all their fans thought they had a right to be the top all the time, and now look at them. That's how it's come to you.
It's the car park at this Theatre of Dreams that gets me. I mean, Christ, it must look like an Italian flipping sports showroom or something, right? Yeah. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that all the tires haven't been nicked by the end of the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every single car's got bricks underneath the wheels. The tires are gone. That'd have happened in Liverpool. I can tell you that now. All the tires would be gone.
Anyhow, let's get on with this. So I said, I love snooker. I met some of the greats over the years at exhibition games, like the likes of Jimmy White, know him, Steve Davis, John Parrott, and Dennis Taylor. I know all of them. Yeah, I know all of them. And then Man City cheat code 115. I went to the Crucible final a couple of years ago, the year Ronnie beat Judd Trump.
Right.
No relation to Donald, I hope.
Trump, yeah.
No, let's hope not. Who doesn't like Newcastle?
You can imagine it, couldn't you? We're going to be playing snooker tonight, but apparently we can't play it until the tariffs have been paid. Because Trump won't come out of his room where he's changing until 10% tariff has been paid. Oh, shame.
And why isn't he wearing a suit?
Yeah,
he won't
come out because he saw in the crowd that there was a Chinese person, and he decided he weren't going to come out and play tonight.
And then, he said, "Who doesn't like Newcastle?" This is a good answer. Andy, Sunderland fans. That's true. Yeah. Sunderland fans are not keen on Newcastle. So I'll tell you, the director of First Blood, interesting, died this week. Ted Kotcheff. It's funny because we mentioned that, didn't we? First Blood as a film. I've forgotten about that. Didn't he also direct Weekend at Bernie's? Well, that's another film going back as well.
I haven't seen Weekend at Bernie's since it came out of the cinema. Christ.
Yeah, it's a long while ago. Tony, just checked. Wasn't aware Kotcheff directed Wake in the Fright with Donald Pleasant, an Ozploitation film, and Life at the Top. Oh yeah, I know that, the sequel to Room at the Top. I've got both of these, enjoyable watches. I know you sent me the Life at the Top. It's good. Yeah. I've watched that one.
Yeah. Coming to an Ian video very, very soon.
And
kindly presented by Tony York as part of the DVD masterpiece range.
So this is Jamie sort of explaining about films. I deem the music just as important as the cinematography in a film. The music creates the mood of a certain scene. It can add suspense or excitement to a film.
Yeah, exactly.
There you are.
And a good director recognizes as well when he's choosing a composer which scenes require a bit of music. Sometimes you score too much. You know what I mean? It's a 2-hour film, and all 2 hours has got music in it. And you got to go. No, you got to have some silence in it. You know, you don't want every minute of the whole film to have some instrument playing some track or something in it.
Yeah.
You got to choose the
Yeah.
parts.
Yeah, because sometimes you hear people complaining that there is the music is too much. It's too overpowering in some films. Not that I probably noticed, but yeah, that's what they do say. So you're right. You're definitely right. Kotcheff directed Bernie Sai. Yeah, I've got a Delboy rant. Oh yeah, that's when you got the rant. Yes. And then Tony says, "Welcome to the club, Si." And they're having a good laugh.
I'm here to please.
Frank Order, my comment to Delboy about a game was passed over. I'll never know now. Laugh out loud.
Was it really? Oh.
I don't remember that. Put it in again, Frank. Put it in again.
Yeah.
You comment on a game. Oh yeah, Aloma, welcome. Yeah, from the Philippines. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, ask it again, Frank. Yeah, and people got refunds, but I didn't, as I have an Odeon Limitless. Oh yeah, that's when the projector broke down. So you do get a refund then normally. Yeah. Also watched Death Hunt with Charles Bronson and Lee Marvin.
He's in a club of two.
Yeah.
that have got one of them cards.
Oh yeah, I've got Death Hunt. I can see it from here. Yeah, that's to come up, that one. Yeah. Yeah. We have the only cinema left in the world that uses gas lamps, Delboy. Oh, the Hyde Park Picture House. Yeah, I've heard of that. There's been a lot of articles up at Hyde Park. It's in Leeds. Yeah, it's famous. It's great old cinema. Yeah, he says it's a wonderful cinema. Yeah, fantastic. Two great actors, Tony. Any good? And ask Ian. He has the DVD. Everyone's saying about that.
He's bloody got the DVD. You bloody sent it to him, you miserable bastard. Anyway, Karen.
I've dug a hole for myself there. Incoming rant. Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but it was only a small one. It was only a small
Ian, one. Did you watch the film about World War II in Czechoslovakia? If you did, you need to get a copy of Anthropos that Tony sent you. It's brilliant. Yeah, I'll probably get round to watching that one. Yeah, I did love the one I said, Black Book. Fantastic.
Yeah, another bloody Tony York night of DVD shit.
It is good though, in my opinion, Jamie. As you say, it's two powerful actors together. Nice wintry Canadian 1930s setting too. Might look into that one, reuniting two of the Dirty Dozen actors. Jamie, have you seen the 1975 Operation Daybreak about the Heydrich assassination? Oh, it has Martin Shaw in it. Heydrich is played by Anton Differing. Just available on DVD.
I saw that.
Everybody's favorite Nazi.
I saw that on TV.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Seeing that on TV. I haven't seen it since.
No. Who would win in a fight? Lee Marvin versus Charles Bronson.
Oh. I reckon Charles Bronson, you know.
Yeah. I agree. definitely agree on that one.
I'll
Yeah,
tell you why, right? Any person, right, that can go from a Western and then be in the streets of New York hitting people that have got Mohicans has got my
yeah,
attention.
he's tough. He is tough.
He's tough.
Bronson. Yeah, he is.
Actually, his actual personal life was tough as well. Actually, to be quite honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that yeah.
I do like Lee Marvin though.
Yeah, yeah. I won't spoil the ending for Jamie by revealing that site. I recorded Operation Daybreak ages ago off TV, but never got around to watching it. I must give it a rewatch. Ages since I saw it. Bronson would beat Marvin. Marvin was a drunk. Oh, he had a alky
Yeah,
problem.
but he was a mean drunk.
Yeah. Oh dear, it's not good, is it? Do you guys think that the cinema will go the same direction as video stores? I'm scared that it's slowly going that way. Oh my
I know
God.
what Si's talking about there.
Yeah.
I mean, I must admit, it's one of those things where I keep saying, do you know what? As ever, even from the moment that I was born all the way till now, there's still the cinema. It's so resilient.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it won't happen in my lifetime, but past my lifetime, I don't know.
Yeah.
It used to be that the cinema, it kept reinventing itself. You know, there would always be something around the corner that would make you go to it and it would become popular again. You know, it's gone through it. I mean, if you think about it, world wars haven't stopped the bloody cinema.
Yeah.
You know? So
in fact, you can argue
the
cinema was actually important in the world wars for both the Germans and the British. Cinemas were great places to give the news, what was happening in the war, to put the propaganda in. They were amazing places, and people also could be entertained as well. So they were very important. Cinema.
I think if cinema is to survive, it's got to respect the kiddies and keep having things like Children's Club and all of those sort of things, and keep certain old films alive. It may look like I'm talking out my arse a little bit because, you know, there's so much that's good in the new stuff that we've got coming out. But I do think to myself that I learned so much about watching films that were from the 20s when I was when I was watching films in the 70s. It was like, I still laughed and found it funny, and I had a greater appreciation of it in my adult life. If you have a children's club and all you're watching is all the Toy Story stuff, you know, the computer generated stuff, and you ignore the fact that there was Snow White in the 40s and there was, you know, the Aristocats and Robin Hood with bloody foxes and all of this sort of stuff, then basically you're doing a disservice. You know, I mean, I hope to God cinema is still around, but I really can't say. I think it's resilient enough, but the more they move to collaborations with streaming services, I start to wonder.
Yeah,
you know, Sky you know, pairing up with Odeon or something for the next production, and you can either watch it on Sky or you can go to your local cinema. Well, of course, people are going to stay in.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't got to get off my fat hairy ass to go and walk down to the cinema, so because I'm a lazy sod, so I'll watch it inside.
And the cost. If you take a family to the cinema, it's expensive.
Oh yeah, and I don't blame Warner Brothers and Paramount for all of this. I do blame the cinemas. They everything these days is a family meal now. You know, gone are the days where you went and just bought a drink. Now you've got to have a popcorn and a bloody bag of sweets and have it as a family number one menu. And then they'll ask you, do you want that medium or do you want that large? I just want number one, love. All right. You know, then they ask you all these questions. By the time you actually get your stuff, you can't carry it to the bloody person to rip your ticket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they're trying to make extra money by some of these making them like collectibles. You know, the
by the way,
beaches.
does anybody keep their stubs anymore? I've got all my I've still kept my
Well,
stubs.
they're collectibles, aren't they? Suddenly they're worth something. So people want to collect them. But it's how life is, you know. People, I don't know.
I used to be a right cheeky bastard. I used to go straight into my cinema and I say, "Can I have the poster at the end of when you finish showing this film? Can I have the poster?" All the time, I'd get a no, right?
Yeah.
But I tell you what, every now and again, he'd turn around and go, "Yeah, you can have it."
Yeah.
And
So
he'd give me it. I haven't got them anymore. It's a shame, but it was just because I was a kid and I was just being cheeky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's a shame because I tell you what, those bloody tri-cinema bloody posters are worth a fortune.
Yeah.
Now, but you know, there's no point going up to a cinema now like a VUE and saying, "Can I have the poster?" It's just waste of time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? They're faceless people. That's the problem.
Yeah.
I used to know the projectionist, and I used to know where he went to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd hate to think where the projectionist comes from now. It's probably a timer.
Yeah.
On a skybox pointing at the cinema screen.
Actually, this is interesting what Tony says. Most things that normally involve human interaction are getting less and less. Online shopping, texting instead of making calls. COVID speeded such things up too.
Yeah.
I think that's true, yeah. And then this is interesting that Jamie says, Minecraft film shows that there's still a market for cinemas.
But just notice what that film is aimed at kiddies.
Yeah.
And when is it being shown? It's shown in the Easter holidays when all the kids are off school.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not stupid. They're not stupid.
Yeah. Right. Here we are. Jamie says, question. Favorite cartoon from when you were growing up? I love Centurions and Visionaries.
Oh, wow. Mine would probably be Scooby-Doo or something.
Yeah, mine's easy. It's Top Cat. That's all I remember in the 60s.
That bastard can, that Officer Dibble.
Yeah, brilliant.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd have kicked Benny up the arse. That piece of shit. You know, you wanted people trying to track down ghosts and then finding out that it would have been a bloke in a mask. And
I did like original Scooby-Doo.
And him turning around and said he'd gotten away with it too if it weren't for them meddling kids.
Yeah,
you know,
meddling kids.
Week, that's what you want. What's all this bloody Top Cat? Bollocks.
No, you can't beat Top Cat.
Yeah,
Absolutely
Top Cat was great. I used to like Top Cat.
It was repeated all the time.
What was the voice?
And of course, Wacky Racers. And I've just, as Tony says, Wacky Racers. Yeah.
Well, Dick Dastardly and Muttley. I mean,
Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is obvious. It's just timeless.
You see, this is the thing. It was always a rivalry with my sister because when the Wacky Racers was on, I wanted Dick Dastardly to win. Funnily enough, right? But it's just my sister would just go, "Oh, nobody cheers for Penelope Pitstop." No, because she's bloody putting makeup on while she's driving, a stupid bitch. Right? She ain't gonna win no car, is she? Jesus, it's a race. It's a match. Jesus. Go home, make the dinner for the husband or something. What's this racing around in a pink car with makeup and all that shit? No bollocks to you. You wanted. I tell you wanted things like the bloody Boulder Brothers and all of that winning. That's real men, Buzzsaw and all that. You know, that's what you wanted.
Penelope Pitstop. She got her own cartoon, didn't she?
Silly cow.
Yeah.
Only lasted one season.
I'm not surprised.
No. But Dick Dastardly and Muttley, weren't they great? They did.
Yeah.
I used to like the one with the catch the pigeon. I used to like catch the pigeon.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah.
All them inventions that bloke. And he didn't he have a speech problem? He used to go and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I used to love all that.
Yeah.
People used to look at me strange when I went to school trying to speak like that. They went, "What did you say?" I went, "What?" I said it weren't in the cartoons. Don't know why you don't understand me. Anyway, but Top Cat, what was his voice based on? Was it based on a film character?
I thought it was Phil Silver's.
Phil, yeah, no, that was Officer Dibble. That was based on
it was
Phil
actually
Silver.
Top Cat because he does all the conning and he's exactly a Sergeant Bilko character, really.
Yeah, but just look at Officer Dibble and the way that he talked, and he was always, do you know what I mean? Even the facial, I get that, see.
But the scheming of Top Cat was just exactly like Bilko did. I mean,
yeah, that's very true.
He'd always have a scheme going.
It's very true,
just like Bilko.
Because I mean, a lot of people were talking about Terry Thomas last week, and I said, "Do you know what, Dastardly and Muttley?" Yeah, but I don't think it was actually based on. I think it's just a caricature that basically they have mustaches that twirl.
The twirling mustaches.
Just that's thing.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but I watched it because the BBC showed Top Cat a hell of a lot, as I remember.
Well, it was Boss Cat, wasn't it? It was Boss Cat, wasn't it?
Boss Cat, yeah, Boss Cat, yeah, Top Cat, Boss Cat. Yeah. Muckman, I have a soft spot for raccoons. It was on during Going Live and Kicking. See there, I know they were all programs.
Yeah, but that's because you've got no class. Raccoons, my ass.
I was too old.
Raccoons. Jesus Christ, man.
Do you remember raccoons then?
Bloody hell, they must have hit the bottom of the barrel with that shit. Raccoons, Jesus Christ. We're going to bring out a cartoon about beavers next. Yeah, all right. Well, that then, shall we? Oh, and it'll be all based around a dam and some wood. Oh, you want Scooby-Doo, man? That's what you want?
Yeah.
Mysteries. Yeah.
But what happened?
Oh dear, where is my next plate of wood going to come from? What the fuck? What's that?
Don't you think Scooby-Doo, they've overdone it and it's gone downhill?
Well, it has now.
Yeah, it's just not the same as it was, is it?
Scooby-Doo, as far as I was concerned, was about 2 seasons long, and there was about 20 episodes, and that was about it.
Yeah, because then they brought that Scrappy-Doo or whatever it.
Oh, what's that shit?
What was that?
We don't talk about Scrappy-Doo in my neck of the woods. He doesn't exist.
No.
Who's Scrappy? Who are you talking about?
I don't know. I must have just. I don't know where that came from. No, we'll pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have rather milked Scooby-Doo over years, haven't they? Yeah. I used to get the posters from the video shop.
Yeah.
My mum's friend's husband worked there. So he would give me first choice and all the old posters. That was good, yeah.
They used to give out the standees away as well. Do you remember the old standees where they had a big cardboard cutout with that stood up in the corner, right? And it'd be a Rambo or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you could get the standee if you were lucky.
Yeah.
The trouble is, by the time you got it home, half the arm would be cut off or bent over or something. You know what I mean? All you needed was a firm wind or something, and that would have been blown out of your hand trying to carry it out. Wood round here, anyway.
Oh dear. So it says, "Hey Del, I have no bad words about Benny." Oh yeah, it Top Cat. There you are.
A blue cat with a white bloody jacket on, the stupid bastard. Because he was going to get his face kicked in. He wouldn't last a second in the alleys round here. with wearing a white jacket. It's like going to school with a bloody satchel, you know, and something that says "kick me up the arse" on your back of your jacket or something. You know what I mean? He had a white jacket on in the middle of an alley. Who's the fool that's going to wear white in an alley? It's dirty, man, for God's sake. You need dirty clothes. It's red, blues. You don't wear white, you stupid.
And then Si says here, if you think raccoons is bad, remember I also love Condor Man.
Oh, well, that sums it up. Jesus Christ, what a note to end it on. That piece of shit.
Right. So that is. Oh, there's another one here. Sorry, and it's Tony saying good night, all.
Good night. He can sod off and all.
Anyhow, before I'd just like to say thank you everyone who's contributed by putting the comments in and watching us. I really enjoyed it, and thank you, Delboy, as always, for coming on. And enjoyed it totally. So let's say our farewells as normal.
Well, it's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Good night. No. Salute to everybody, and I hope you've had a lovely time. I really hope you have a good Easter weekend. We all deserve a little bit of time to ourselves. Whatever you do try and watch a film or two. Films are there to enjoy. You've got plenty of time this weekend, hopefully, to see some. Oh, and please watch Ian's videos because the old fart ain't got many more left in him. So basically, he's got to do. You got to keep him going. We've wound him up, right, as much as we can go. You know, we're putting a solar panel on his head.
It's 99, and wish everyone a happy Easter weekend. Thank you.
Please subscribe to this bastard here. Look, please subscribe, please, and like.
So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.